here. It's big, and it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello everyone and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name is Bart Hansen and I am joined by the poker babe, Shirley Rosario. And Shirley, tonight we are doing our $200 restricted buy-in no limit hold'em game. The blinds for this game are 3 and 5.
Right.
And, it's chock full of action.
Yeah.
So let's get right to it. Now, we're going to start by introducing the table. So let's go around quickly and do that.
Okay. In seat number 1, we have James. In seat 2, we have Josh. Seat 3, we have Terry. And in 4, we have Brian. Seat 5, we have George. Jeff is in seat 6. And Walt in seat 7. Sammy in seat 8. And Ryan in seat 9.
Well, Shirley, we apologize for the little delayed start. We moved the table. The Live at the Bike table has been moved. The plaza is now open, the new plaza area.
Right.
And we've moved this table into a special area at the back of the plaza. So we've been working very, very hard over the last few days, getting all the wiring and stuff correct. And, of course, the chips in this game, the yellow chips are $5 chips, and the blue chips are $1 chips. This is a restricted buy-in game. If you go down to felt, you can rebuy to up to 300.
Right.
Now, normally people will stack their chips in
$100.
20 chip denominations, which is $100. So there you got the ITH George, the ITH or 2+2 or George there in seat 5 with the ITH shirt on. Looks like got about $420 in front of him. So we're going to see a flop right off the bat here. 4-8 Queen Rainbow. Looked like it got checked around. The turn is a 10. And now, seat number 7 is going to throw out a bet there. Walt, he's got pocket deuces. He has an underpair to the board. Looked like he made it 15. And
That looks like...
seat number 4 there had 7, 8.
I think he had a pair of eights,
and he called. Yep. So he's going to take it down. Brian there took down about a $40 or a $50 pot.
So like you said, this is a $200 buy-in game, but look at all the chips on the table.
Well, of course, you can continue to add chips, on more and more chips. And, we got probably at least a few $1,000s on the table.
Right.
So we got 3 blues there and a yellow. And seat 6 is going to limp in. Looks like he's got an ace-deuce suited there, Jeff. And we're going to see 4-way action. It's a $20 pot. 5-deuce-7. And actually, seat number 8 there has ace-deuce in the small blind. Jeff had come in with a king-9 suited in seat 6. The turn is a 7. And it gets checked around again. And the river is a 3. So it brings a 1 card straight to the board. Looks like anyone with an ace or a 6 would have a straight, and Sammy has an ace. And it still gets checked down here. So again, we were kind of dealing with a new situation, new room, new table, so bear with us as we get all the cards up, work out the kinks of the first night here in the new location. you're going to see a limp here from lay position in the cutoff. Seat number 7. That's Walt. He's going to come in with ace rag. A couple of ace rags, pocket 5s, and pocket 8s. So no one raised with their pairs. Deuce, Jack 10 on the flop. It's about a $20 pot.
Check around.
Gets checked around. The turn is
Looks like another 10.
another 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like seat number 9 there, Ryan threw out a bet
With his
his
eights.
8s, and his 8s were good.
Yes.
And he takes it down. So Joe Hacham, he's going to come into the casino, Shirley, sometime around 8 o'clock to make the official opening of the new plaza level. And hopefully he will, like I said, stop in here for a couple of minutes, maybe possibly even play on the table. If everyone out there in internet land wants to follow a live thread that started, you can go to 2plus2.com, spelled out, click on Tournament Poker, World Poker Tour, and other televised tournaments. And we are right there. Post questions, comments, suggestions. Surely, you know, I was looking on the site, and already people were a little bit excited about how they couldn't quite get the show on time tonight. But again, we apologize.
Oh, yes.
Pocket Kings here for seat number 1. And it looks like he has raised. And actually, you know what? He's in the small blind. It wasn't under the gun raised. Saeed had raised with a deuce 6 of diamonds. And Pocket Kings is going to re-raise to 45 straight now. And I'm sure that Saeed's lucky. He's going to be able to get away from this one, I'm sure. Coming in for a raise under the gun with 6 deuce of diamonds.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually
That's right.
Terry
That's it.
in
That is
C3.
right. Oh, yeah. I got that.
And Kings is going to take it down without a flop.
Saeed left. He doesn't look like a Saeed. He's a white boy there.
Again, we're doing a $200 restricted buy-in, no limit hold'em game tonight. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're going to have several people coming in and out that might want to play in this game. We are going to switch back to the 30 game that we do every Wednesday. These 2 weeks, like I said, it's been a strange couple of weeks for us with the plaza moving and the table moving. But now as Legends is going to start tomorrow, we're into our groove now. Looks like it's a $20 raise here. Under the gun there, seat number 6 raised with ace-jack offsuit. And ace-king and jack-10 call. So 5-6-9. Now, if Jeff continues with the bet here, he might take it down, Shirley. 5-6-9, 2 hearts on the flop. Nope, but he chooses to check in position and take a card. The turn is a king. And now that gives Terry the best hand. And it goes checked around again.
Yeah.
And the river is a 4. So probably Terry was going to try to throw a check raise in there, I'm sure, on the turn.
Yeah.
And now he didn't get anybody to bet, and now he's going to bet out here on the river.
And I don't think he'll still get anybody to put more money in that pot.
No. It was about a $60 pot, so he's betting $20.
He's not betting much, but they don't have anything. So.
And he's going to take it down.
Yeah.
So the pot was laying $80 call to call 20, but ace-jack did not call. And you know, you could play that hand a couple of different ways there, Shirley. I mean, if ace-jack had fired out on the flop, probably would have taken it down. Chose to take a free card instead. And, it's funny there because seat number 6, Jeff, he's a pretty tight player. He brought that one in with ace-jack offsuit in early position.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you'll see people muck those hands in early position, again, like ace-jack offsuit. Not you, of course.
I was going to say. Not me.
Seat number 2 here in the small blind. On the button. He's got ace-queen offsuit. He's going to make it 15 to go. That's JMX in seat 2.
And that's it.
He's not going to get any action.
So I wanted to tell you that I talked to Phil Lack today, and he was excited about this show. He said he's going to come in a few weeks and participate in this. He said, I'm going to make sure I go to the bike because you have something that nobody else has. You have the live action game, with showing all the hole cards. I'm going to come in. And he said that he would even help guest commentate.
Well, it's funny when I was doing the interviews there at the Rio, he really talked. He spent the most time out of anyone with me.
Mm-hmm.
He was very, very entertaining, and he seemed enthusiastic about our idea. And I thought it was really cool. So we're going to see four-way action here limped around. It's about a $20 pot. Ace, 8, 7.
We have Brian flop the opening straight there.
And it looks like somebody bet 15 and got called in a couple of spots. I think Terry might have just tried to bluff at it there with Jack 7. Well, he had bottom pair. The river is a 5 spades, and it's 4 spades on board. No one has a spade. And George actually has the best hand here in seat 5. But Brian actually made his straight. Excuse me. The straight came in there on the river, but boy, that's scary because it is a 4 spade. But he bets right into it. And he takes it down.
So Phil also mentioned that Jennifer Tilley was invited to play in the Ladies Invitational, so that's pretty exciting. Of the 6 women that are invited, she's one of them.
Right, for the free roll that they do.
Right, that's the televised World Poker Tour Ladies Invitational.
And I've actually been asking you this a lot, because who decides really who gets to go into that free roll?
Well, I imagine it's the powers that be at the World Poker Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's going to be in it. I'd imagine probably that Liz Liu, who finished in the...
She finished in a few. She placed in a few events.
Yeah, but she finished in the final table in the televised event in the first big tournament of the World Series. She's pretty. I imagine that the English attorney that made it the furthest in
Tiffany
the main event is probably going to be invited as well. And those would just be my guesses off the top.
Yeah, we'll see how they do it.
Yeah.
Those would be some logical choices. I believe Mimi Tran deserves to be there. And she's placed in a lot of World Poker Tour events.
Terry's bet $20 here. It looked like the pot was limped around. About a $25 pot, or after the collection, about a $20 pot. So he bets about the pot size. He's got a king-9 top pair. He's going to bet in position, and he's going to take it down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just seeing from the past of that particular free roll, it doesn't necessarily not inviting the best female players. It's almost like the hottest players at the time, or the people that have gotten the most exposure at the
people
time.
That haven't been on it before.
Right,
so,
right.
I mean, you can't argue with Jennifer Harman's success. She had a great World Series, but they're not going to invite her because she's already been on the show.
Right. And Kathy Liebert's been on the show before.
Right. Annie Duke.
Yeah. Seat number 4 there, he's got ace-king, and he's going to look like he's going to throw in a raise. He's going to make it 20 to go. And it looks like he's going to get a call there by Jack-9 suited, so we're heads up. About a $40 pot to the flop. Wow, Jack-6-8, so Sammy's got top pair. See how he plays it. He's first to act. Seat number 8. And it gets checked. Both players check. A 7 now comes on the turn. So now Sammy's got top pair and he's open-ended. And it checks again.
Wow.
And the river is a 6.
He's trying to get him to put some chips in the pot, but...
Well, I think Sammy's been just trying to... Now he's going to bet $25 here. $25 into about a $40 pot. So the pot's about $65, 25 to call. And Brian's really thinking, can I make this call? Is my hand good?
Uh-huh. Well, you would think it would be after it was checked twice. You would think ace high was good.
Well, I mean, obviously there are 3 moves you can make here. You can call, you can fold, or you can raise. And I'm thinking he's running all 3 options through his head here.
Mm-hmm.
Is this guy just trying to buy the pot off here on a bluff? Can I raise him off of the hand? The thing is, if I raise and I get called, I'm going to lose, obviously.
Uh-huh.
So, with a hand like Ace King, if you think of bluffing, he might just call and think his hand is good.
I don't think the raising was an option after he took so long to
And he
think
folded.
about it. It looked like he really didn't have much of a hand.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit surprising there that Sammy gave away 2 free cards. Again, you can tell the difference between this game and our game that we do on Friday nights, which is our big unrestricted buy-in, no-limit game. People tend to try to get tricky in this game when you really shouldn't, Shirley. I mean, they put in their money with the worst hands, and they refuse to put money in when they have the best hands. And
yeah, that's kind of true.
Really counterproductive.
That is kind of true.
Yeah.
I still try to get tricky on occasion. I mean, it can work to extract, some extra money.
Raise, 20 total.
Seat number 4 there. He's going to raise it, looks like, to 20.
Heads up.
Pocket 8s, and I believe the button called here with the Jack 9 suited. So we got a $40 pot here. Ace, Jack, King. Boy, that's not a good flop for pocket 8s.
Not for either player.
And it goes check, check. So the Jack did not bet here. And now Brian's going to bet here with the 8s. And look at this. Jeff lays down 9 Jack, and Brian takes it down with the worst hand. Well, I've played with Jeff a lot before. He really is kind of a tight, conservative player. Some people would say almost a tight, weak. As an example there, Shirley, I kind of think if I hit any part of that
Any kind of
board
pair.
and I'm in position, I'm probably going to put some money in there if it gets checked to me.
13,000 we made the deal. 64,000. 201 rebuy.
Oh, there's Tuckman. Looks like he's having a good time. Dave is quite the character.
Yeah.
Quite the character.
Raise, 20 total.
Looks like George here is going to... I believe George was the raiser
It
here.
looks like it, yeah. It looks like he made it
And he only-
$25.
And he's got 5-7, it looks like. And he's got some pretty good hands. A king-queen suited, pocket 7s. So, 6-way action. We're looking at a $120 pot here to the flop, and I believe that George was the initial raiser. 4-4-9. Now, Sammy's got that same hand there, Shirley, Jack 9. And he's got top pair in seat 8.
No, just the guy moved all in with
$120 pot. No one has a 4.
Check around.
And it gets checked around. Now the turn is a jack, so Sammy's got jacks up, and is he going to put any money in here, Shirley? We're begging
Looks
him.
like it, yeah.
Betting 40.
It looks like he's going to bet $40. He is in first position, so maybe he's scared that somebody might be sandbagging here.
And Ryan put in a call there.
Well, Ryan's
I
got
don't
top
think-
pair now.
yeah,
He's got
he
queen
has-
jack, but he's in trouble. So the pot is now $200, and we're going to see a river. Ryan's going to need to catch a jack or a queen here, and the river is a king.
Betting 40.
And Sam's going to bet 40 here again. And Ryan makes the call. About a $280 pot there. Jacks and 9s beats Jacks and 4s. And Sammy takes it down. Now that's a little bit of a bad card there on the river. Now obviously you can't really put somebody on a king if they call your turn bet, but if someone has a king, well
Yeah.
now I'm counterfeited.
Uh-huh.
So, anyone with a lone king is going to win with kings up. So, not the best card to see there.
That's funny. Crazy Psycho on 2+2 said Eric Seidel Jr. in seat 6, and I've heard that so often when I'm sitting there at the table with him.
Yeah.
He does. And
Raise.
all the time I can't remember his name, Jeff. I'm always thinking Eric when I'm talking to him.
Again, these, we got new camera angles. We're kind of trying them out. So, again, questions, comments, suggestions about some of the new look. We're always welcome your input with regards to how you think that the show could be improved or what you like. We're viewer interactive here on Live at the Bike.
Right.
Pocket 10s there for Eric Seidel Jr. raised it and took down the pot with no action. George was telling me he doesn't really play a lot of No Limit. He came here to be on the show. He usually comes to play the 30-60.
Right.
And again, we're going to be doing the 30-60. We've just done the 200 the last couple of Wednesdays just because of the powers that be, I guess, and some of the logistical things that have been going on. Usually what it is, Cheryl, is we like to start a game on the Live at the Bike table. Now, we normally only have 1 or 2 30 games going. So if the game isn't started on the table, it's hard to move it.
To move them, right.
But now we have so many 200 games, we can just pick any one of those up and just move it. So that's why it's easier to spread this game.
Well, it's not only that, because we are having a party for Joe Hatcham to celebrate his win for the World Series. So there are probably going to be a lot of players that want to play No Limit that are going to be at that party. So that way, if we want to put them in the game or they want to play.
Yep. Now, JMX there, he's got Brian there, he's got an open-ended straight draw on seat 4, and he bets and he takes it down. And it looked like 8-9 check folded there immediately. Not a bad play at second pair in early position. And I don't know if you can tell there, too. We've got little Live at the Bike insignias on the back of the chairs as well. We've got it all rigged up now.
Yeah, and they're not normal chairs. They're the dealer's chairs. They rotate,
Rotating
with wheels on them.
Wheelie chairs,
Comfortable chairs.
We're Italian. We could be very loud. You're Italian, Greg? What, you can't tell?
I
actually sat and played in this. Yeah, there's a shot of the chairs.
The two of us sat and played in this game when it first started.
We were playing when this game first started. Looks like we got a $25 raise here by seat number 4, Brian. He's got a king-queen suited. Seat 8 is going to make the call with king 10, and he's dominated. Part of the problem with playing that hand. He is in position, though. So we got about a $50 pot to the flop. King queen against king 10. 9-9-8. And it goes check, check here. Check, check. The turn is a 5. Check, check again. And the river is a deuce. And it gets checked down again, Shirley. Well, I don't usually like to call raises with king 10 off suit. But if you're going to, because you're going to make the case to me that you're in position,
then use your
position.
Use your position.
Yeah. And poker isn't just about the cards. Or about hitting the flop. You're only going to hit usually a flop 1 out of 3 times. So you've got to, you got to make the most.
You can't
of
be
your whole
looking to
situation.
hit something with your hands.
Yeah.
And especially in No Limit, that's even more true.
Yeah.
That it's not about the cards.
See pocket jacks here for seat 6 or seat 7. Seat 7.
Walt.
Seat number 3 there, he's got an ace queen offsuit, and it looks like he's in the blind. So it's a $20 raise by pocket jacks.
So TJ's going to call. Terry.
So we're heads up, ace queen against pocket jacks. King 6-5. Well, that's the card that.
No, Walter was dreading, but he's still going to bet it here.
Well, he's going to bet it.
Yeah.
He's going to say that's the card that you really don't want to see come on the flop if you've got ace queen, and that's what it seems.
I was thinking if you have the jacks, you don't want to see an ace or a king.
Well, it just always seems to me, people say, it's an ace magnet. We got pocket kings. You always see an ace on the flop. What I really feel is when I have ace queen, I always see a lone king come on the flop, and it's almost as bad. And it's just. Now, ideally, I probably want to see a queen, and an ace obviously is usually going to be pretty good too with my ace queen. But king is a real, it's the worst card you're going to see with ace queen. It's limped around here. 6-way action. About a $30 pot. Ace 8-3, a couple of diamonds.
Ryan hit
there.
that nice.
Top 2 pairs. Terry's got ace rag, so he's got
And Brian hit it pretty nice.
ace.
Straight draw, diamond draw, and Ryan has top 2.
So Ryan's going to bet with top 2 here with the ace 8. Like you said, Brian in C4, he's got a gut shot wheel and a flush draw.
Looks like Terry just raised there.
Yep, Terry's going to raise there with the ace rag, and he's in big trouble. He is in big trouble.
Now Brian's thinking what to do.
$15 bet, a raise to 45. So the pot is about...
It was
It's about
linked in.
It's about $90 pot. 45 to call, and he's going to make the call.
Yeah.
So it's a $135 pot now, 45 to call. Now, if you're Ryan there, you got somebody to call, I would push pretty much all in right now, Shirley.
You would think so.
And you got top 2, and he's going to move
He is.
over.
He can have a whole $5 more.
Yeah, there's 3 of us here.
So it's about a $180 pot here. It's going to be some side pot if they build it up. There's the flush, Shirley, king of diamonds. Now, I was going to say, if you're seat 4, you got to bet here, though, anyways, right? He checked it. He checked it.
What the heck is...
He checked the flush. Well, maybe he was trying to throw a check raise in, and then he moved all in on the river, and he did not get a call. And the flush is going to take it down over ace 8.
Yeah, after I'm sitting there saying I don't like that call. It was limped pre-flop, right?
It was
he had
limped
only
pre-flop.
invested $5, and then it's a bet and a raise in front of him.
It was a $30 pot, and then with that bet and the raise, it was about $90, $45 to call 90. So he was getting about 2 to 1.
It wasn't 90 because Ryan had only bet 15, and TJ had made it 45.
Right.
That was only 60.
60 plus 30.
Plus the annex. Plus
the
the
pre-flop
limps.
action, yeah. No, it's kind of interesting. You see kind of that, too, that when someone moves all in now for short, it's like you still got to play your hand against the other player.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe he was trying to check raise there with the deuce 5 of diamonds, but why, give that card and then another diamond come up and you don't know if your hand is good?
Yeah.
Well, this pot's 4-way action. Looks like it was limped around. A lot of garbage here. Queen 5-10, couple of clubs. Turn is an 8. Let's see if George's got a pair of 8s now. Check again here.
And he's leading out there.
It's $10 bet.
So George bet $10 on his 8, and Terry's going to call. He's got a flush draw. He's got king 3 of spades. The deuce comes on the river. Let's see how George plays this now on the river. He's going to check it, and Terry's going to pull. He's going to bluff at it on a missed draw. It's one of those times where you might, if you were George, maybe put out a little blocker bet, but he's going to check call. And the 4-8 is good.
Okay, he owes you 5 with the turn.
I was going to say, Shirley, you throw a little blocker bet out there on the river so that you don't have to necessarily call that big of a
Right,
big of a bet.
What you're willing to risk, like
Right.
put $20 out there.
Right. But he made the check call there.
Small big.
It also says here on 2+2 how uncomfortable I look in front of the cameras, which is so true. That's me.
$25 right here. He's 200 behind. Actually, he's 195 at this point. To be formally exact.
Oh, that's true.
This is the
Kevin
live
pointed
debate
out
game.
on 2+2 that they might invite Isabel Mercier to defend her title like they did with Cloney the first season
Ah.
because they had invited her back. So
Pocket aces here for Ryan, seat 9.
You should.
Oh, there's Jennifer. Wow.
what's that girl?
I'm a lucky guy to be in an enclosed area with 2
With the
beautiful
girls.
women. 3 deuce 5, couple of clubs on
We have some
board
big.
here.
We have pocket aces here.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Ryan's got aces here. And look at this, though. Seat number 7, Walt. He's going to lead with pocket 8s. And I believe that Ryan might be all in here. And I think he is all in, seat 9.
He must have just done a short buy
All
then.
in 195, 25. So that makes it 170.
And actually, he's playing for money behind, so he's moved all in over the
Oh,
top
he went
of
and got
pocket
chips.
eights.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
Ryan, I believe that he might not, I don't know if he
He bought
raised there
200.
pre-flop or what. I couldn't quite tell. So Walt's trying to figure out if his eights are good here. He's put in about $100 bet. The pot was about, I believe it was about 80 pre-flop. And he's going to make the call, and he's in trouble. Aces against pocket eights here.
It would be a balance of 170. Yeah. 195 less 25 should be 170.
So here we go. Let's see the turn. Turn is an ace. That's a
They
set
need
of
a 4 to
aces.
chop.
4 will chop it. Oh, 10 comes on the river. 3 aces is going to take it down.
I'm sure Walt would have been happy with a chop there.
Oh, that would have been
that
brutal
point.
if we'd
Yeah.
seen a 4 there on the river. Absolutely brutal.
I would have seen the turn, you would have won money too. What's that? You weren't going to call me. If I would have seen the turn, I would have.
Queen jack off suit. He's going to bring it in for a raise under the, oh, looks like in second position there. Makes it 15 to go. Small blind's going to call here with 7-9 suited. And the big blind's in there with ace rag. So it's about a $45 pot to the flop. Ace, king 5. Look at that ace rag, ace 6 in the big blind. Sammy. Hit top pair.
Well, yeah, he's been trying to get tricky, so once again, he checked his top pair.
And look at this, queen jack checked right behind
Takes
him.
the free card.
Turn is a queen, and that might get James a little bit in trouble here. But Walt has picked up a flush draw
Flush draw,
here.
and he's betting out on it.
I believe he actually has 7-9 of diamonds.
Yes.
Yeah. And he bets. Boy, and Sammy makes the call here with ace rag. And James in seat 1. You can't tell where he went to. And the river
Is a 7.
is a 7. James was out of there, and the flush didn't come.
But Walter's still betting out there. Looks like $80.
Gonna bet 80.
So he's putting a tough decision here to
Yeah.
Ryan.
Pot, he bet, I believe, 40 there on the turn. So the pot was about 120. So now the pot's about 280 to call. And here's a situation where, do you want to put $80 in here to try to win a $200 pot when you've got an ace rag? And that's a good size bet there by
Yeah.
Walt. Again, it's about a $200 pot, 80 to call. Sammy made a pretty big call there on the turn with ace rag. And he folds.
Makes it, yeah.
And he folds. So that strong, aggressive play takes it down there for Walt. And that's a pretty advanced play there. You pick up a draw.
Mm-hmm.
No one bet the flop. It's very difficult to put somebody on top pair
Yeah.
if no one bet the flop. So he bets out as a semi-bluff on the turn. And,
Follows through with it.
he gets called. And now, likely, I'm probably going to think that guy probably might have a weak king in that spot. Or possibly a weak ace. And he had a weak ace. And now I miss my flush on the river. Well, I definitely have to bet an amount that a weak ace probably isn't going to
Yeah.
call.
Your only chance of winning the pot.
So,
That's why it was a 170 bet. Right. It was the 5 that was missing as well. Good catch there. Thank you. I tried. Nothing gets by this guy. My lucky day. I've never seen that hand before, though. What if you have 20, and then he doubles up to me, and then pays somebody 20?
He can only take 180 from you then.
Well, right, but I'm saying that nobody ever really.
looks like we get a family pot here again, limped around. King 7-9.
Good job. I didn't understand why you were saying it was 170. I thought
It's a rainbow board. Brian there in seat 4 has got a king. Well, that guy in seat 2, he's been playing a lot of hands there. He played 4-8 offsuit. And it looked like James put a bet in there. He's got a gut shot to the queen. Threw in a $15 bet, and the king deuce called. The turn is a queen, and there's the straight. He's caught his 4-outer.
It wasn't a 4-outer. He has a double gut shot, and I know I'm not going to
there
see
you
him
go.
straights,
You're right.
but I see that one.
You're right. I didn't pick that one up. He could have caught an 8 or a queen.
Right.
Yeah. Those are very difficult to pick up sometimes. So he bet out on the double gut.
And then got there on the turn.
Got there on the turn. He's bet again. And he's going to make a call. He got called. Looked like he put about a $20, $30 bet there on the turn. So the pot was about $120 before this street. Now he's bet, it looks like
Looks like $40.
40 or 50.
I think it's 40.
And, boy, this is a tough call for King Deuce here, Shirley. And
Yeah.
he's going to make the call. So James takes it down with the straight.
The Big Bad Rook on 2+2 asked me, do you know any Pot Limit Omaha 8 books? How did you improve a Pot Limit 08 in Omaha? I actually don't play Pot Limit Omaha 8. I have played it, but I don't play it. And I have never read any books on it. So after this hand, I'll talk about the high-low books that I have read, the Limit high-low books.
George there, he's going to raise to 20. Looks like he's coming in with a couple, kind of a weird hand again. He's got 5-10 of hearts. So we've seen them do this a couple of times before. Going to get called in a couple of spots. Pocket nines and king queen. About a $60 pot. Wow, look at that flop for 10-5 of hearts.
Yeah.
3, 4 deuce, 2 hearts. He's picked up a flush draw and an open-ended
And an
straight
open-ended
draw.
straight. Draw.
I'll make it. Or George.
So it's a $60 pot. And Sammy there, he's in position with an overpair. And it looked like he said he bet 30. Yeah.
It looked like that.
Pocket nines is just going to smooth call. Interesting. The turn is a 5.
If
Now that
George
actually-
continues on this, Sammy's going to...
Oh, and it goes check, check. And the river's a jack. Wow. And George is going to check again. And Sammy checks right behind him.
I didn't understand what I have 5.
And George turns over 10-5. And Sammy shows pocket nines. You're right. If you followed there up on the turn.
Yeah, he would have got that. But that's
no
hard
way.
to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, what about books for you? I have read...
Well, Ray
Was it
Z's
Ray- I
book,
think I read Ray
Z's book,
Z's.
which is a high-low split book, is a very, very good book. It's actually a combination of stud 8 or better and Omaha high-low.
And then Mark Tenner wrote a book. This was pretty good.
Yep, and even some of the high-low sections of Super Systems and Super System 2.
Is that good? I haven't
Lyle
looked at that.
Berman wrote it, I think, this time. And Todd Brunson actually read the stud 8 or better section of Super
Wrote it?
System 2.
Uh-huh.
And those were
See, I haven't read
both
that
pretty
one.
good.
I mean, I'm fortunate that I have Steve teaching me, who's considered one of the best tournament Omaha 8 players, 08 players. And actually, you can find a lot of information on his website. Have you ever read his articles? He has a lot of Omaha strategy articles.
I have.
Yeah.
And I actually, when I first started playing the game, I used a point system that was linked up to that website.
And I think he just kind of put that up there
Right.
for information because he really doesn't follow the point system, but some people do.
Yeah. Sammy's going to bet $15 here. The flop got checked around. He's got top pair now. Jack 8. He's going to throw a $15 bet out. And it looks like he's going to take it down. Well, I think, you can't. I mean, as you get more and more advanced, you can't really be hooked onto a pre-flop point system, but to start off, it's not a.
It's not
a
bad for
thing.
guidelines to get you started. So his site, if you want to take a look, is playwinningpoker.com, and he has a section there, Omaha Strategy.
Yeah.
So, and he's got a lot of articles there, and they're very useful, especially for tournaments.
Now, the difference between a pot limit 8 or better
It's a totally different game.
and limit 8 or better is really, in terms of at least just pre-flop hand selections, you actually, like, I would rather have, say, king, king, ace 3 or king, king, ace 4 as opposed to, say, ace, deuce, 3, 4, where in limit, probably I'd rather have ace, deuce, 3, 4, ABC. Because you can punish the low in a pot limit game.
More.
So you,
right,
yeah, you can
for
punish,
their draws.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Pocket queens there, got raised. There's no action, took it down.
So I also finished on the final table again in the Stars
Oh, you
tournament
did?
this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll carry over into the Legends event.
How much money did you win?
This time, a little over 1,000. I don't remember if it was 13, 11. I don't remember. It was a little over 1,000. I finished 6th. I mean, I was struggling from 27 players and not afraid to go out on the bubble. When we were down to 20, there's 2 really, really short stacks, and I was actually doing pretty good, but I just kept sticking my chips in it because I'm playing to win. And ended up getting myself up to 6th place.
Ace king here for seat number 9. It looked like he just limped in. 4-way action. 9, queen, 10. So ace king's got a gut shot. A couple of overcards.
15.
Sammy there, he's going to lead with top pair. 9, queen, 10 on the flop.
And Ryan just called. Oh. Am I seeing something wrong? I am seeing something
Turn is
wrong.
a 4.
I
Yeah,
thought,
ace king
I thought
called.
a king. Yeah, well, I thought the king was on the flop. I was surprised he just called.
And it went check, check, and the river's a 7 of hearts. Ace king did not get there. And it probably is just going to get checked down here on the river, and it does. Queen is good. Sammy takes it down.
So the Legends event is starting tomorrow night. Legends of Poker, the No Limit Hold'em in Omaha is going to be on Friday. Are you going to be playing the Omaha event?
Well,
Or
not
you'll
if
be
it's
in
on
here?
Friday.
Because you'll be in here.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to play.
Big blind right here.
Was that just Alex Powers scrounging around back there? Looked like it.
He's over there by the table.
Yeah. It looks like that one got chopped around.
Free money.
Whoa, somebody had a chip accident there, surely. Seat 8.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's stacking his chips and got a little tricky with it.
A little louder? All right, you got it.
Was he stacking him too high?
Guess so.
Yeah.
Okay, action's on you. Time. Action's here. He bought the button. I got a dead blind right here. $15.
$15 raise. Hopefully someone can get in here and add some action to this game, Shirley.
Yeah.
This turn's kind of a little bit dull right now. Pocket 8's there. JMX takes it down.
Thank you, sir. Pocket 8. Got it better. Got it better. Small bit.
So again, the action starting to build up at the plaza level as we approach the official opening of the level and World Series of Poker champion Joe Hatcham. Or Hashem.
I still say
or
it's Hatcham.
Hatcham. Well, we'll find out.
We'll find out
hopefully.
when he comes in.
Yep. This pot was limped around. Queen 7-8. Turn is a 10, gives an open-ended straight draw. Actually gives a straight there to Brian in seat 4. Jack 9. Caught the gut shot. And he's going to bet $15, and it doesn't look like anyone can call him. And he's going to take it down.
So the new chip counts brought to you tonight by Joker Gaming. Seat number 1, James, has $300. JMX in seat 2 has $100. Seat 3, Terry, has $80. Brian in seat 4 has $1,000. George in seat 5 has $400. Jeff in seat 6 has $650. Seat 7, Walter, has $460. Seat 8, Sammy, has $500. And seat 9, Ryan, has $400. So we didn't have the 6 o'clock ones, I don't think, or I didn't see them. Oh, we did. So we can do a little comparison here. No huge changes there.
Well, three-way action here, limped around. Ace, Jack, Queen. Oh, Ace Rags coming through again. $10 bet here by James. And JMX is going to raise it with King, Queen. Now, this is a very, very difficult call for Ace Deuce with this type of board trailing. He's bet 10 here with top pair. He's gotten raised to 40. Even if I think that my ace, there's a possibility that it might be good. I'm playing this in the blind. I might just get away from this hand. Very difficult to play out of position. King Queen, of course, has got second pair and a gut shot straight draw. Shows the ace, and then JMX shows the King Queen, takes it down. JMX, is that like BMX? The bicycle, right? Is that right? BMX? The dirt bikes.
BMX.
Did you ever remember riding on pegs on the back of someone's bike?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pegs.
I used to actually ride the BMX bikes. I used to have one.
Yeah?
I was such a tomboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We lived in an apartment that had a baseball field on the other side that had like dirt mounds and stuff like that, and we used to, ride our bikes over there.
Pocket kings here for seat 1. And he's going to raise it up here.
25.
He's going to make it 25 to go. And a couple people have got pocket pairs, and George might call with that little 8-10 of clubs. So we have brewings of a pretty big pot here if we get a couple callers. Now the question is that if he makes it 25 to go, if I'm with the pocket pair, can I make between 200 and 250? Does he have that much? He looks like he does there in seat 1. Looks like he's got probably about 200 or 210.
Wow, he's moving all in. Terry's moving all in.
Terry's going to move over the top all in.
Yeah. And Sammy's finished with the threes.
And Kings quickly calls. It looked like it was 86. And I'm sure Terry's just hoping. It's not necessarily a bad play when you're at the cusp here of your rebuy, where you just gamble it up. You hope that he has something like ace-king.
Right.
But in this case, he's going to be about a 4-1 dog. Kings against pocket fours.
Oh.
And there's a set of kings right
he's
there.
drawn
Terry's going to have to catch
diamond.
running diamonds, and
Yeah.
that's going to do it. The ace comes on the turn. Jack on the river.
Running diamonds, running 4.
Yeah.
Running quads.
Yep. And James takes it down.
Now, when we were sitting at the table, do you remember the guy in JMX? He had about $600 in front of him.
Okay, got a small and a big there.
Is that the same gentleman that was in C2 over there?
It looks like it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember, I don't know if you were there when he offered the other player his hat.
No, I had left by
Okay, yeah. Same player.
Got a dead hand. Nope. No. He called.
that. Kind of a blind call there.
Yeah.
Seat 8.
They got 5 players.
So you're going to see 5-way action times $5. It's about a $25 pot. To the flop. 4, 5, 6. James there's got top pair with an open-ended straight draw. 3, 6.
15.
Brian's got a pair and a gut shot. But look at this. Jeff has flopped a nut straight in seat 6. See how he plays it. Looks like he just smooth called there, Shirley. I think it was a $15 bet by Brian. Jeff smooth called.
And I know you don't like slow playing, but I think it's a great move here.
Well, it's not necessarily that I think my hand is vulnerable in this case. It's that
I mean, there's
three
rainbow flop there.
comes.
And
If a 7 comes, if a 3 comes, if a deuce comes, if an 8 comes, it can be a big action killer. There are 4 cards I don't want to see on the turn. Not that I think I'm going to get beat, but I might not make any more
it
money.
might kill
Yeah.
your action.
Yeah.
Well, that's a risk I would take on that one.
Oh, look at this,
That's-
though. A 4 comes on the turn, and Brian has made trips, the original better, and he's going to continue
he has
leading.
A straight draw there. If he hits 7, he's going to chop it with it.
Now, how about this? Jeff just flat calls again. What do you think of that play? He's not going to raise here. He's letting 4-8 bet right into him. So the pot now is about $140. And we're going to see a river. Brian's going to have to have a board pair here or catch an 8. And the river is a 3. Now, this is what I'm talking about, Shirley. 1 card straight to the board now. Brian checks. Now, Brian might not be the type of player that can get away from this because he has trips. But because Jeff never put any raise in on the flop or on the turn, if Brian didn't have such a strong hand here,
He might
he
think he
would
was
just not
calling
get
with
any
the
money.
7 for the open end.
Yeah,
and-
he wouldn't get any money.
yeah.
And Jeff looks like he bet about $80 here.
Well, I would say that still would say that I like the way he played it. I mean, this is a rare circumstance where, that action killer card is gonna come.
And he shows the nut straight there. Now, obviously, we can see the card, Shirley, but if he had made a big raise on the turn, he might have had all of Jeff's money there on the turn. Well, now
That's true, but then
they're
right.
both pretty, deeply stacked. So, Brian
But
might not have gone.
I wouldn't want to make a move with all my chips right there with a paired board. You might be making your move right there and be dead.
So you
Someone
think
could
that
already have the full house.
You think that he pulled back into kind of a defensive mode? and
I
called
think he
on the
did.
turn?
I think that he thought, oh no, I slow played this, and now someone might have paired their, 2 pair and made a full house.
Well,
But I'm still gonna call.
again, and as I said, I'll be writing an article
Well,
for
there's
your.
so many ways to play hands.
I'll be writing
so.
an article for your website shortly about slow playing.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a case where your hand isn't good enough to slow play, but there are just so many cards that can come out that are going to stop the betting.
Right.
So why not maximize value now?
But you can also make a counterpoint there. There might be cards that are going to invite more action.
Pot's been limped around here. Now we played with this gentleman too, I believe, seat number 3. It's a new player.
I played with him yesterday, but I did not play with him today. So you might have played with him before I came into work.
7733 on the board here. And the river is a king, and that gives Jeff the best hand. But George is going to put a little bluff bet out there, and he's going to get called. Now, George might have put this bet out here, Shirley, thinking no one bet on the turn. Maybe he was betting thinking it was a chop pot that the board was going to play.
Right.
But Jeff caught the king there on the river, and he takes it down. And actually, seat number 2 looks like he had the best hand, and we couldn't quite tell what he had.
So I think we're getting confused, Bart, because seat 3 is James from seat 1.
Ah, okay.
That's why he looks familiar, I guess. Terry left, and Walt left.
Ace King of Hearts here for seat number 3 in the cutoff. And he's going to raise.
Medium. You all in? No, I think he said all in. He said like this.
Couldn't quite tell how much he raised to there.
It wasn't that bad. Had good draws. Yeah, sometimes it's sad.
Just remember to say that you planned your day.
Yeah, he gets anal surge.
Cavities,
$2. That's why he says it.
And he didn't get any action there, Shirley. $15 raise here. And we're heads up, Jack 10 against Jack 7. Looks like Brian was the raiser there. Flop is a 9-9-7, so JMX has actually flopped the best hand. And I don't know if is that still JMX in seat 2?
I haven't had a
Gets
word of a change.
checked
so.
around here on the flop. Now the turn is an ace. And JMX has got a pair and a flush draw. And he's going to bet. But look at this. Brian's reaching for chips. Is he going to throw a raise in here? Looks like it was about a $25 bet. And Brian is going to raise. He's going to make it 75 to go, so he's raised up to 50. $25 bet there on the turn. Again, we talk about kind of like a stop bet there, Shirley. But Brian's going to have nothing to do with it there. He raises. He's got a gut shot to the 8. But JMX has the best hand. Very difficult to know that, though. He's going to make the call. So here we go. We're going to see a river. And the river is a jack. And Brian has actually
chop
made...
this pot.
And yeah, Brian is actually caught up here because they both have jacks and 9s with an ace. River's a jack.
Yeah, what do we got here, Bill?
2 pair.
And surely they're going to chop it up.
Chop it up.
Pocket 8s here for seat number 9. Jack 9 suited.
Is it worth it?
I think so, because I had a great flush draw. Full chance of that happening.
Wait, it seems like Brian's in a lot of pots here in seat 4.
Yeah.
He's going to limp.
Well, he's been playing well.
6 players.
6-way action, but a $30 pot. And we're going to see a flop. Jack 8-5. A couple people have jacks.
And Ryan
But look
has
at this.
a set.
Ryan's got a set. Hugo's got a straight draw.
20.
And a flush draw. So this is going to be interesting. Now, Ryan is, it looks like Sammy's bet out on the Jack 9. He's bet $20. And look at this. Ryan's going to raise with his set. You know, following my school of thought.
Yeah.
DMX quickly mucks the Jack 6. Brian's got a gut shot. He mucks. Now, Hugo's got a big draw here. He's got a gut shot and a flush draw. This is sometimes the type of hand that you might check raise with here, Shirley, a big amount. But you've got a better and a raiser now. And of course, this is a 200 game, so you're not that deep. You're probably not going to get somebody off of a hand that's at least worth raising on the flop.
Right.
$15 bet. It was raised to 60, I believe.
Yes.
And Hugo's going to make the call.
You're not the only one.
Now, if I'm Sammy, I put this hand in the muck.
You're done. Yeah.
Yep. I really do. And he's going to. So it's a $150 pot now. Hugo's going to have to catch a 6 or a spade. The turn is a 3.
A 6. A 10.
A 10 or a spade.
Oh, wait.
Is he double?
He's double gutted again.
Yeah, we double gutted in a flush draw. So he's got a huge
I would have pushed
hand.
in.
You would, now he's going to push in.
Now he's going to.
Now he's going to push in, and the 8 is going to call immediately. Well, a 4 comes on the river and did not come. 7-9 did not make it.
I don't really like pushing in on the turn, but
Yeah. You might have check raised there on the
if I
on
had
the
seen
flop.
the double gut shot,
Yeah.
then I probably would have check raised up for all my chips.
Yeah, he had a double gut shot and a flush draw. So you're talking about 15
A lot of
outs.
outs.
15 outs and 2 cards to come. Again, though, when you're trying to do a semi-bluff like that, you know, a guy who's raised a better, now a guy in first position bets, now
Right.
the guy to his left raises to 60.
You're not getting someone
Well,
off the hand.
if I check raise all in, he's probably going to call because his hand is probably very strong
Right.
enough to do that anyway.
That's true.
So it's, you know, it's. You know, the thing is though is that even if you have, say, you know, if you had Ace Jack, well, still, I'm still probably, I'm a slight favorite with my hand over something like Ace Jack. Now against a set, I'm an underdog because of the chance, because the guy's got the redraws, pairing the board, makes a full house. So I probably don't necessarily want to take that hand, you know, heads up against the guy if I knew he had a set. But, you know, you can't necessarily.
But they don't
the guy
know
has a
that.
set.
We know that.
Right. Dimitri there in seat 1. Gonna see a flop. $30 raise. KGB. The Russian Express, Dimitri in seat 1. Flop was a deuce 4-7. He flopped top pair and he bet out and he takes it down.
There's a very good chance that nobody can see us. I have 3 friends who I called, all of them say they can't see anything but the splash page. And I know every time I try to get on, all I can see is the splash page. I just have trouble getting on things. Every once in a while I do. That means they got a crap server.
No, just go to the right first and then
Yeah, I know how to use the computer. It's just not working.
I don't know.
Ace Queen offsuit. $10 raise. And we're going to see 4-way action. That's a $40 pot. Deuce 3-8. I believe the original raiser was seat 3 with the Queen Jack. Ragged flop. But look at George. George is going to bet 35 here with a couple of overcards. Why not? If it doesn't hit anybody else. Ryan's got King Deuce over there in seat 9. But that's a pretty hefty bet there. Betting about the size of the pot. I mean, he gets King Deuce to lay it down. I'm sure Dimitri's going to lay Queen 5 down. And James is going to lay Queen Jack down, and George takes it down. Pot is limped around here. Three-way action. 8 deuce 4. Rainbow flop. JMX is going to bet there. He's got absolutely nothing. Or excuse me, James. James bets. He's got a couple overcards. And Dimitri likes it
That's
down.
enough, yeah. Dimitri put at KGB. That's what he's asked to be called.
Yep. Who played KGB in Rounders again? Why am I having so much difficulty
John
with this?
Malkovich.
John Malkovich, right,
Uh-huh.
right.
I sure hope they knew that phone.
George limps in there. Jeff comes in there. And seat number 2, he's going to raise. He's going to make it 20 to go. He's got a king 10 of clubs. Probably just trying to pick up the limpers.
Either that or trying to make a nice juicy pot there.
Sammy's going to come in with queen 8, and we're going to see three-way action.
Yeah.
Or it looks like maybe, yeah, three-way action. Got a $65 pot. Ace 10 jack. Look at this. JMX, the original raiser, he's flopped a nut straight right off the bat. Ace 10 jack on the flop.
Oh, okay.
And actually, no, it's
No.
Ace 10 jack. He's flopped a bottom pair there.
Straight draw.
Yep.
There he has 2 pair.
Now
But Sammy
the
has
turn's
a
a
straight.
king, and Sammy has a straight now. So king 10's got
2 pair.
2 pairs. Sammy's got a straight. And Dimitri's still in there.
Well,
I think he
I'm
got
sure
checked
not for
around
long.
on the
Yeah.
flop. Yep. And now JMX leads out with his 2 pairs, king 10. And Sammy's just going to smooth call with the queen. So the pot's about $110.
Ooh.
Wow, look at this. The river is a king giving JMX kings full of 10s. Wow, and now he has the best hand over in seat 2. It's about a $120 pot again. And he bets $20.
25.
25.
He's getting that call for sure. I think he could have got a little
Boy,
bit more
he
than
really
that.
could have pushed there.
Yeah, I
surely.
think he should.
Wow.
He could have got $50 from.
I might. He could have even pushed all in there. I mean, at this level, is that guy laying down a queen at this level? I mean, you push all in and you figure, well, the other guy's figuring that you just have a queen anyways. So
Right.
I think he could have pushed a lot harder there. Might have even been able to push all in. Looks like there's a live straddle there, Shirley. Pocket jacks for seat 4.
Is he the one that straddled? No.
No, he's actually in the big blind, it looks like. Or he's in the small,
small blind,
Small
yeah.
blind.
And he's not messing around. He
Wow.
wants to take that pot. That's a huge raise.
Well, you've got about 5 people that have limped in for $10, so I'm going to take the $50 down right now. With
Yeah, but
jacks.
you can take the $50 without risking $200. They only limp for 10. And $60. I think $100 would have done it. You wouldn't have had to risk.
Well, Ryan
I-
mucks
I
the
think it's
ace
going to
queen
get the
there
job
in seat
done.
9.
Yeah, no matter
Yeah.
what.
Take $10 back. I got only one nice.
And he takes it down. So we're talking about a theme we've been talking about the last couple of weeks about really risking the minimum to get the information that you need, or making a move with the minimum amount of chips. So if you're saying that you could have got that same result with $100,
Yes.
it's better to do
it with
at $100
$100,
instead
yeah.
of $200. Now, if he had made a decision that he was going to take that hand all in under the gun anyways, I mean, he was going to take the hand all in regardless because he was somewhat short-chipped, well, might be a slightly different story, but...
Right. But, you know, Ryan over there with the ace-queen, what if he had happened to be making a play and had kings or aces or something like that, and you're willing to take those jacks for about $200 but not $600, you know, if Ryan had moved in?
Looks like it's a $15 raise there. Dimitri, he has 8-9 offsuit.
Dimitri plays a lot of hands.
He's going to get called with 4 spots, so it's about a $60 pot. Look at Jeff come in with 5-10 of hearts. Look at that flop for 5-10 of hearts. 10-10-3. Wow.
That is one hand I never play. Suited, not nothing. I mean...
And he's going to bet 30. It's a rainbow board. There aren't a lot of draws out here. As I was going to say, I'm not a proponent of slow playing. These are one of these special situations, Shirley, where you might get tricky because the board really is not threatening.
Not coordinated at
Yeah.
all. I mean...
Yeah. But you never know.
No
You know,
flush
James in seat
possibilities.
3, he's got pocket 7s. Because he
Right.
laid that. He still's got a hand. And he's thinking, well, would a guy bet right out with a 10? And look, he's reaching for chips. He's going to raise here with his 7s.
Well, he'll find out if he's messing with if he has the 10.
Let's see what Jeff does here. Now you might get tricky. Actually, you know, I think that Jeff might be thinking that maybe his hand isn't good now. And he's going to move all in. He's going to move all in over the top. Well, here you go again, Shirley's situation where seat number 3 lays it down. Great situation again, Shirley, where you talk about maybe not risking so many chips to get information. You know, if both players had 5,000 in front of them, and I got raised on that flop, I'm probably not going to push all in with 5-10. Right? So, you know, you're trying to risk the, you know, use the minimum amount of chips to gain that information. I just think that the times in this game where it's proper to slow play are so far between. It's so slim, and it's just they're so rare that you could almost tell someone to never slow play in this game, and it would be correct because, again,
You think a player would be better off overall, not slow playing?
Absolutely, because the times when somebody does slow play when it's incorrect, you know, vastly outweigh the times when, you know,
Yeah,
I guess
mean,
they
I could
could
see your
slow
point,
play.
but I do think there are times, and I'll still slow play sometimes. But I do see your point. For a lot of players, it probably would be good advice.
Right. But Dimitri's got a suited ace, ace 3 of clubs. He makes it 20 to go. And he takes it down. And like you said, Dimitri likes to play a lot of hands.
He's very hard to read when he's out there, and he talks a lot. Sometimes he's talking and telling the truth, and sometimes he's telling lies. And
Pocket aces here for C3. First time tonight we've seen aces. He's going to make it 20 to go. Jeff has a hand that he can probably call with here with king-queen suited. He is out of position, though. But he's going to make the call. And is Sammy in there with the ragged ace? Yep, Sammy's in there with the ragged ace. Queen Jack 6. Now, Jeff could be getting trouble here.
yeah, I think so.
It's about a $60 pot. And he's going to bet $50 straight out with the king queen. So it's a $110 pot, 50 to call. And again, in this game, Shirley, not a bad move probably to push here. If the guy has something like queen jack, well, I have outs to maybe 2 pairs, in the next couple of streets. And he moves all in. Moves all in with the overpair. Again, there aren't a lot of people at this level that would make this move, say, with ace-king. I think Jeff's probably smart enough to get away from this one.
I think he's going to, too. Oh.
No, he's going to make the call.
What do we know?
He's going to make the call. Wow. Here we go. Turn is a deuce. Jeff's not going to need to catch a queen or a king. River's a queen! Oh, wow, he's hit trips on the river. And aces gets cracked. We've seen it for the first time tonight, and it gets cracked. Wow, that's a brutal beat. James put his money in with the best of it. That's all you can do.
Right.
And Jeff looks like a genius.
I don't think so. I think he's probably feeling a little lucky, I'm sure.
Lucky?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say stupid, but I doubt that. But lucky. No, I mean, a lot of players would call him that spot.
What can you beat there? There aren't a lot of players, like I said, that are capable of making that move with ace-king, or that would make an all-in with ace-king. So if he doesn't have ace-king, I mean, he's probably got a minimum of ace-queen.
Then he would have to have an ace-queen 2-pair set or something like that.
Right. Looks like George got up and left the table.
Yeah, Scott's coming in.
Looks like we're heads up here. Ace-queen against deuce-7 offsuit. And I believe the deuce-7 raised. And he's going to raise. And
we have a new player in seat 5.
It's a new player. And
that's not George.
And the flop was a king-king-8, so that's a bad flop for ace-queen, Shirley.
Take George's name off there. He would never play 7 deuce.
Oh.
He might have posted.
And there you go. Deuce-7 takes it down there in position.
So that looks like I think that's Hugo that moved. So Hugo moved to George's seat, and George had enough of no limit. He likes limit.
Looks like he made a pretty healthy profit, though, over the couple hours that he played the game.
It looked like it.
Yeah. Again, we're probably about a half an hour away from Joe Peacham entering the building. And we're going to see a family pot here, 6-way action. King, 8, deuce, 2 hearts. Look at this, Rhines flop, bottom 2 pairs, and he checks him from up front here in seat 9. And the button here, the button is going to bet. It's Sammy. He's got a king 4. Oh, surely 8 deuce just makes a call here. I would definitely have thought that he would have check raised. Bottom 2 pairs, very vulnerable.
It is.
Jeff
and
calls
2
it the
hearts
flush
on
draw.
The board.
Yep. And there's the flush. 6 comes on the turn. Jeff has made a flush.
He might have just called there so he could get away from it if a heart came. Let's see if he
maybe
does that.
Try to get, hope for a safe card.
Yeah.
Well, he's checked here, and Jeff has bet looks like about $100 there with the flush. He's got the second nut flush. It doesn't look like he wants anybody with an ace of hearts to dangle around. He's pushing really hard. Sammy's going to muck the king 4, and look at this, Shirley, deuce 8. Yep, he's going to muck. So maybe again, you're right. A case could be made that you might be waiting for a safe card to come on the turn. That's not really, that's not really my style. I know people do that a lot. Sometimes people will do that in limit too. I mean, I've seen people say, not 3-bet or re-raise on the flop with stuff like bottom sets because the board is so coordinated. You know, say the board is, 6, 7, 8 of all spades, and I have a set of sixes. Well, I'm not going to jam it now. I'm going to wait, say, and see the turn. Well, my theory is, with 2 cards to come, if someone doesn't have a made hand yet, with a set, I'm still in. At that point, with 2 cards to come, I'm still favored, so why not jam it at that point? Same probably could be said there with the 8 deuce. Probably was good on the flop. Pocket queens here. Seat number 9. And you know what? I think that he might have just limped in with queens on the button, and now the big blind raised. This is interesting. So he's limped in with queens. JMX has raised out of the blind, and now he's going to get a chance to re-raise. Again, I'm not a huge proponent of limping in with pocket queens from the button, but he got exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, I think so.
And he's made it 100 to go, it looks like, and Hugo's got king queen. He's not going to call. And Ryan takes it down there in seat 9. Looks like there's a couple of seats open here.
Does that mean that Scott's not coming in to fill in there in seat 7? He's not gonna. He's gonna go to the party, probably.
Blind is going to raise here. 15 more. He's got a 9-10 suited. Look at all the clubs out there. Wow. Think we're going to see a club flush on this hand?
I doubt that. What do we have? 9. We can. Not many cards there. There's only 4 left, right?
Jack 5-9. 9-10 against Ace 8 here. Heads up. So James flops a pair. He's got second pair. He's going to bet 25. $25 into about a $40 pot. So it's about a $65 pot. And look at this, though. Hugo's going to raise. Hugo doesn't believe that James has any of that. And he makes it 50 more to go. 55. And look at this. 9-10 quickly mucks. And Hugo uses some position in there and takes down a nice little pot.
So they're all playing musical chairs
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Greg, help right away. Nope.
Okay, so seat 8 there. Move to 6. So Sammy is in.
So we're going to be short-handed here.
Yeah, looks like it. They'll go get some players. I'm sure there's a lot of people dying to play in this game right now.
Where are you going?
Oh, Ryan too. Bart, get out there. If we stick in Isaac in the game.
Oh, we have to put him in the game, though, he said.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. I'd rather just flush my money down the toilet.
Well, we get to see some shorthanded play anyways.
Ace 10 against King Deuce.
Queen Jack 6.
turn is an 8.
Tuckman.
Oh, look at that. And the river's a deuce of hearts. So Dave Tuckman is going to come into the game. Oh, he's got a lot of chips there. He must be coming from a different 200 table, huh? Oh, maybe not. Maybe he's playing 3 to 5. Looks like he's got pocket 4s, the small blind. Look at this, though. Seat number 6, he's going to raise. He's got pocket 10s. Going to make it 20 more. So let's see if Dave takes the... Yeah, he's going to make the call here. Try to hit a set. Heads up, pocket 4s against pocket 10s. Oh, my goodness. Sammy's flop quads. 10-10 king. See how he plays it.
Come on, 4-4.
Check, check. Jack comes on the turn.
Jackpot.
Dave checks again.
Wow.
Sammy's going to bet now. And Dave mucks. And he shows it. He shows the 4-10s.
That pocket jacks. Could have got jackpot. Huh? Are you got jackpot? No jackpot.
Wow.
It wasn't that beautiful. It would have been much better if it was 10-10-4.
Here comes Tony
Easy.
into seat number 8.
Easy, one more free card. See if I come up. I'll set up forever.
Pocket 9s, ace queen, pocket deuces. Couple of good hands. Looks like Tuckman's got pocket... No, Tuckman's got deuces. And it looks like we got Ulette coming in at seat 9. It's a $30 raise here. It looked like JMX raised to 30 with queen 7 of diamonds. And James Flat called there with ace queen.
No. That's how you do it. Professional. First hand, sit down.
And Tony moved all in? He's moved all in. We can't see what he has in seat
There he
7.
goes. He's putting
He's
it
got
over
pocket
now.
queens.
Pocket queen.
Wow. So Sammy's got a decision to make. He's got pocket 9s. Tony's moved all over the top, all in for another, I guess it would be 175 more. And Sammy's still thinking about it here. Tony's moved all in, maybe doing a move with ace king or something like that, Shirley, or trying to take down the razors. Already was $90 in that pot, so now the pot's about 280. He's going to call about 190. So 190 to call for a pot of 280, and he is going to make the call. And again, he's a big dog. He's about a 4-to-1 dog. And Tony doesn't know what to be happy or what.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see a flop. 6, 7, 9. Look at this. Sammy catches a set. He's got a set and a 10 comes, so an 8 would chop. A queen would give Tony the win. And it's a king, and a set of 9s takes it down. Wow. And Tony probably doesn't like the king on the river.
Oh! It's been on fire with the
It's
sets.
a bummer.
Well, Tony's going to have to dip back into his pocket.
And shakes his head.
Again, he can really only... Can't control those types of things in poker.
No, you can't.
So that's seat number 9 there. That's
Ronnie.
Ronnie. Tournament player. I've never seen him actually play in a cash game.
I think I've only seen him play in a live game twice.
No?
Well, we'll see how he plays live action games.
He's a very tight player tight tournament player. From what I remember. We're going to see a flop here. It was limped around. Ace, Queen, 9 on board. And Ronnie there from seat 9 bets with the ace rag, and he takes it down. You know, you can follow the live thread that started every night by going to 2plus2.com. Click on forums, click on Tournament Poker, World Poker Tour, and other televised tournaments. And we're right there. And the gentleman that starts the thread every night, his name is Kev Masterly, and he says, I wonder why some nut company hasn't had the idea to sponsor those hands where someone's big hand gets cracked.
It's a good idea.
Something like Emerald Nuts. Something like that. Good idea. We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, it is a good idea.
Keep that in mind.
Tell me it doesn't turn you on when you touch it. Yeah. It's enough to make somebody want to play white chick, huh?
I want to put something like this in my house and say powered by Honda or something.
And we're heads up here. 9-7 and against pocket 7s. Jack 6-3, 2 spades. And a check and a check. Wow, Ronnie checked that board in position there, Shirley. Jack 6-3. I got pocket 7s. I'm usually going to fire. 10 of spades comes on the turn. It goes check, check again. And the river is an 8. And now James has made a straight. Wow. And Ronnie calls. James threw out about a $20 bet, and Ronnie calls.
Yep.
9-7 takes it down. Well, Ronnie missed a couple of bets in there, Shirley.
That works, right?
So we're going to go to table talk here in a couple of minutes, and hopefully when we come back,
We'll be able to go grab Joe.
we will be joined by Joe Hatcham. And keep your computers on, because we might come back early with him.
Yeah, that would be
So
great.
It depends.
Well, you might come back. We have only 2 mics.
Pocket ace is here for seat 1, Dimitri.
Okay, let's see if they get cracked. It's the second time we've seen him, right? The first time didn't go so hot.
And Tony's got pocket 9s, it looks like. $20 raise there by Dimitri.
Move all in. You can't call you. Move you all in. No way he calls.
Oh, look at that.
No
David
chance.
might.
Yeah, see, there's no chance he calls.
And look at this. I think Tony said he checked blind.
He called and he says, I checked you.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see a flop. Jack 6 deuce. And Dimitri moves all in.
Dimitri's not messing around there. I think it's like $50 pot.
It's a rainbow board here. There aren't a lot of draws out there.
Right.
Tony's going to muck.
See, I told you. You move all in. There's no way he can call you.
Here, David.
See, my reading skills.
Even when he's not commentating, he's commentating. What a character.
Dave likes to talk a lot on the table.
He's
It's
so
fun.
funny, though.
Couple of limpers, and Dave completes in the small blind. We're going to see a flop. 5-way action, $25 pot. Jack 6 deuce. Tony there in seat 7's got a Jack 10. And it looked like he got checked around there. 7 of clubs comes on the turn. And now Tony's going to bet. He's going to bet 25. And Tony takes it down there with Jack 10. Rabbit Cam shows a 10 of spades. Would have made 2 pairs. We're going to have to get something up on that wall, Shirley. It looks kind of bare. It looks like my apartment.
Isn't this what we're going to put behind it?
What's that thing?
Yeah.
The thing behind us? No, this is staying in here. Are you kidding me?
Is it?
Yeah.
No,
These
it's going to go
roses?
back on the wall. No, I'm talking about this. We have you're showing it. Okay. Bicycle Casino here, and then we're getting signatures from the people that were guests. So we have Brandy Roderick, and then her husband, what was his name? He was a linebacker.
The guy from the Jets and the Broncos.
Right.
Glenn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he signed it.
Yep.
That would go nice back there.
Yep. It's funny, I went over to do a remote, and this is the day that we had trouble where the power went out, so people only got to see about a half an hour of the show. And went over to do a remote interview with him, and I thought he had played on a bunch of different teams. It turns out he'd only played on 3 different teams, and I called him a journeyman linebacker, which is just about the worst thing you could ever say to a professional sports player. And he didn't look too pleased. But I made up for it, though, later on.
So, and he had played on the Chiefs, too, right?
He's played on the Broncos, the Jets.
And I thought when I looked him up, it's the Chiefs.
Maybe the Chiefs, too.
Yeah.
But usually, like, when you've played on, say, a lot of teams, it usually means
suck.
you're not that good, right?
Yeah. Keep getting traded.
Or just, bouncing around. And, I call it Steve Lyons syndrome. Those of you out there that know. Steve Lyons played for maybe 20 different teams, and he played every position in the same game. Now
Every position,
that's a utility.
defensive and offensive?
Well, actually I'm talking about baseball.
Oh, okay.
But he played every position in one game. Wow, someone's flopped trips here at Sammy. 6-6-7. And James, who was the original raiser, he's going to bet here with ace-queen. And Sammy makes the smooth call here, Shirley, with the person behind him. Now, again, this is a coordinated board.
Yes.
Now we're heads up. The turn is a king, and that's going to probably be able to get James off the hand, and he checks. And Sammy's going to bet.
They liked your face on the camera, Isaac.
And I don't know what James is waiting for. It's about a $30 bet here. I mean, this is a tell, too, Shirley. I mean, when you see somebody wait a long time to make a move and say they make a move, they're usually probably bluffing. Well, in this case, he made a long time and folded. We're going to play one more hand until table talk, and then we're going to do table talk. And hopefully we're going to come back with the World Series Poker champion. Again, you can post comments, questions, suggestions to 2+2. You can ask questions through 2+2 if you want for
You can also
Mr.
send
H.M.
questions to our email. Everyone checks those.
Yeah. Pocket aces here for seat 4. And we're going to see 3-way action. Deuce 9-10. A couple of people have flopped top pair, but seat 4 is in there with pocket aces. And look at this, Tony's going to lead out. He's going to raise, actually. Aces led here for 15. Tony's going to raise here with top pair with queen 10. Looks like he's made it about 60 or 70 straight. Now Ronnie's probably going to get out. He's going to get out with the jack 10. Now what are you going to do if you're seat 4? Is he going to pop him back up here? Or is he just going to smooth call? Oh, he's going to move over the top, all in. And Tony's going to make the call. So Tony's going to need to catch a queen or a 10 here, or he's in big trouble. The turn is a 10. Look at that. No, it's a 6. The turn is a 6, and the river is an 8. And Aces takes it down. Sorry about that, folks. As we can see, as we were rewiring here, the flop is kind of going in the opposite direction from it was before. So it looked like that 10 had just turned, but it was actually there on the flop. So we're going to get a dealer change in here. And we're actually not going to go to table talk quite yet.
Raised to 15, make it 30. How you misrepresent?
They didn't mean to raise.
What's a raise now?
We got pocket aces here again. This time it's JMX there in seat 2. We're going to be joined by a special guest here, Scott Lazar. He placed 6th place at the World Series of Poker this year. There we go. Now we can hear you, Scott. Scott, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good. I actually came down to see Joseph Hashem, who's going to be here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
And he and I got to know each other a little bit during the tournament. We respect each other's play, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing him because I haven't seen him since he won the bracelet.
So you got 6th place in the main event, correct?
Yes,
what
I
is
did.
that about, what, about $1.5 million?
I got
2
exactly
millions?
$1.5 million.
Wow.
Not a bad payday.
Unbelievable. If you take a look up there, point your head. Oh, you missed it.
What'd I do?
Gonna wave at everyone out there.
Hi.
There we
Hi,
go.
everybody.
There we go. So, boy, what a thrill, man. I mean, it's got to have been extremely. Was it one of the most difficult, mental things you've ever had to do in your life? I can't imagine. It's just
mentally and physically. I think one of the reasons, if you'll notice, I was the oldest player at the final table at 42. All of the people at the final table were much younger and literally fit physically.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a grueling process to sit there for sometimes 14 hours a day and keep your mind in the game, sitting in the chair, doing whatever you had to do. I talked to everybody throughout the tournament. Nobody slept very well.
Yeah.
Nobody even ate very well. So it was mentally and physically very fatiguing.
Yeah. As we see our buddy there, Dave Tuckman, in seat 5, he's going to go broke on this hand. He's got pocket 9s, and he's moved all in here. JMX has got aces. And Dave's on the short stack, so it's only about $80. Probably.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How is it that two guys got aces within several hands of each other?
And Aces makes a quick call, and Aces is going to take it down. And it's funny, right before you came in here, we've seen Aces like crazy. We hadn't seen him for the first hour or two. It's amazing as we get to see a lot of hands. You know, this is actually, Scott, the first time anyone's done a poker show with hole guards with regards to a cash game.
Uh-huh.
And it's interesting because obviously cash games play a lot different than tournaments do.
Sure they do.
And
You can pull cash out of your pocket any
Absolutely.
time and revive.
Absolutely, and obviously the strategy changes
Much different.
in a cash game. This is a $200 restricted buy-in game. We do all different types of games. On Friday, we do an big $1,000 minimum buy-in, 10-20 no limit game. This is a 3-5 game. It's usually a game that a lot of people who watch poker play, as most people who are recreational players aren't professionals. And this is the game that a lot of people are introduced to, the restricted
So
buy-in
just
no
start
limit
out.
game. Yeah.
It's a lot different when you have $10,000 in chips in front of you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This is a short, chipped game. But, getting back to the World Series, I interviewed Jennifer Harmon there at the Rio, at the Lifestyles Convention that was going on opposite. We had a booth there, and she was telling me how physically fit and active she stays during the main event or during the entire World Series, that she eats right, she tries to get a lot of sleep, and she approaches it, very, very seriously.
I did a similar preparation prior to even coming to Vegas. I made sure my entire house was in order. In other words, I paid every one of my bills prior to leaving home. I made sure everybody knew where I was. I didn't want to have to think about a thing while I was there. I didn't want any distractions. I just made sure my mind was completely clear. Physically, I had been working out for some time prior to the event, and I had been eating healthy, and I tried to maintain that throughout the entire event as well, so that I knew I was fit every day. And I tried to get the best sleep I could, but your mind plays a lot of tricks on you, and it's very hard to sleep with all the excitement of what's going on there.
One of the other things that I asked pretty much every pro that came in and interviewed with me at the Rio was your approach to that tournament with that size of a field different from, say, a tournament that had 400 players? And most of the pros said no, their approach is not going to be different. It's going to be the same. But, I look at a guy like Raymer, who now has made it deep into these giant field tournaments, where maybe he has a strategy or an approach that's best suited for, a field of multi-thousands and thousands of
I don't
players.
think his approach is any different on any tournament. I think, one of the reasons I went out sixth, and I could have sat there with my chips and just grinded away and worked my way up in the dollar amount, in the dollar column. I really went, I was there to win the tournament. I was after the bracelet. I played the game. Greg Raymer and a lot of guys that were there play the game to win. And that's what Greg does right. He's not afraid to put his chips in there. He's not afraid to gamble. He's not afraid to make calls. He's not afraid to make raises. It doesn't matter how many people are in the tournament, whether it's 400 or 4,000. The game has to be played correctly.
Now, what was your best showing in a previous tournament before that?
I've won tournaments. I've taken second several times. I finished thirds, fifths. I made actually 4 final tables this year. One at the Commerce earlier this year. That was a no-limit event. I got to the final table, second in chips.
The LA Poker Classic?
Yeah. And I took a bad beat on Pocket Kings and ended up being the first one eliminated from the final table. As we all know, that happens. And I made a couple final tables at the mini-series that you had going on here before I went off to Vegas. So, I don't have a problem playing tournaments. I've played a lot of tournaments. But this was certainly the biggest payout that I ever had.
Now, is this type of payout, is this going to change your life? Have you been offered sponsorship? Are you going to play poker full-time now? Are you doing some different things that you've got planned with this amount of money coming in?
I really don't want to play poker full-time. I like my life the way it is. I like spending time with my children. My family comes first. I like spending time with my friends. I think that's important as well. But I will play a little bit more tournaments. I have been offered sponsorship. And I do want to play more of the WPT events and some of the main events with the higher cash prizes, as opposed to going to play in a live game, which I've done for so many years. I mean, what am I going to do, pick up $2,000-$3,000 in a live game? To be honest with you, that doesn't mean anything to me right now.
Right. Absolutely. So we have a flop here. It's King 10 deuce. Dimitri there in seat 1, KGB. He's got ace king, and he's going to bet $75. And it looks like he's probably going to take this down without a lot of resistance. As we're both looking through the card player, some of the pictures there, some of the pictures from the World Series of Poker. Now, this lady here, we were talking about her, Liz Liu, she's high-limit cash player over there at Commerce. And, boy, she had a couple of cashes, and she placed pretty high in one of the first events of the night. So when you guys moved down to Binion's, in the downtown area, I guess was the second to last day when they were down to about 20 people.
Well, yeah, exactly. We played the final 3 tables.
Did that change anything? First of all, how many spectators were there? Was it a media spectacle down there?
It really was. There were several hundred in the room. That's all that they would allow. It was based on invite only and passes, and people were waiting online. One of the problems was, it was a little bit of a stressful situation because there was so much media attention. I was away from the hotel where I was staying because I was able to just go up to the room if I wanted during a break, freshen up, come back down.
At the Rio, you mean?
At the Rio.
Yeah.
I didn't have the same opportunity being over there.
Right.
Plus, I was going for ESPN interviews, and it created a little bit more stress also knowing family was flying in than I had the rest of the week. And that may have been a little bit part of my downfall at the end there because I really did crash and burn at the end of the tournament. I played championship poker the entire tournament, and then I pretty much fried at the end. I mean, I literally almost like gave up. Get me out of here. I'm done. When you guys watch it on TV, you'll see what I mean. I kind of imploded at the very end.
Well, it's funny you say that. Robert Turner, who was probably the top tournament player, in the early 80s, who was the executive host here at the Bike, he was telling me, he went out, I believe, I want to say about 90th, and he was telling me, he's won so many tournaments, countless tournaments, and he's won a bracelet before, too. He said he was more tired after this tournament than ever. He said he totally crashed. The 2 days afterwards, he was just mentally and physically just a total wreck.
Absolutely, I agree. I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, that last day at that dinner break, my back and my head, I mean, I was aching. I was just trying to survive, really, at that point, physically.
How many hours of sleep could you possibly get? Like, how many hours were you playing each day?
We were playing between 12 and 14 hours a day. But then I would get home. I'd have phone calls to make. My kids are overseas, so I was able to call them. It was still daytime, their time. And I was able to tell them what was going on with me that day. And then with all the excitement, by the time I'd get to bed and actually try and get some sleep, maybe I got between 2 and 3 hours a night sleep.
Oh, that's just brutal. I can't even imagine.
It really was. And then you got to get up and do it all over.
I mean, one of the biggest, problems I have with some tournaments, and it's not just the World Series of Poker, but some of the other tournaments too. These tournaments that, especially if they're not allotted for a couple days, if they're one-day tournaments, you're playing for, in this case, you're playing for multi-millions of dollars, but, even in normal, bigger tournaments, you're playing for hundreds of thousands of dollars, say at 7 in the morning. And it's like, that's probably the worst time where people are probably at, they're mentally tired. And, I mean, I guess it's part of the tournament, but it just always seemed to bother me a little bit that some critical decisions are made late at night when...
I do like tournaments that start earlier in the day. Yeah, I agree with you. I've played plenty of overnight sessions. I've even played 24-hour sessions. Or 36-hour sessions. I mean, I agree with you that you're mentally exhausted at that hour. I know I'm looking for my picture. This was right after I got knocked out. There were still only 5 players left. They're probably just grateful that I'm walking out the door there.
Well, Ace Queen looks like he's going to take it down. We're going to clip to, look at this, and Ace comes on the river, and Ronnie is in tough shape here with the Ace King.
Yeah,
and he's gonna push all in here. He's gonna push all in here, and James is gonna call.
Kind of an easy call there.
Yep. And Ace Queen takes it down, and Ronnie's gone bust. What was it like? Were you ever on the same table with Raymer and Mattisau at the same time towards the end
not
there?
Not with the two of them at the same time, no. But I was on the table with Mattisau, of course. So you heard about our famous hand that we had? Maybe I shouldn't spoil it for you that want to watch it later this fall.
No, I think you can review it. If anyone wants to turn their volume down, go for it now.
Well,
and, you could tell us about it.
It was the third hand of the final table. It was raised by Denneman under the gun. He claims he had 2 jacks. I'll find out later. I had pocket aces, and I re-raised him, and Mattisau went all in for $7 million with pocket kings. I instantly called him, and the flop came with a king and 2 hearts. I had 2 red aces.
Yeah.
It came a heart on the turn and a heart on the river.
Wow.
And the funny thing was, after he outflopped me, I still wasn't giving up. I still went, I've got 2 outs. And then on the turn I went, I've got 11 outs.
Yeah.
And it's a very exciting hand to watch. The reactions from Mike's excitement to his disappointment at the end of the hand to my, sort of blasé attitude to this unbelievable excitement when that heart hit the river.
It's funny. ESPN really did up, the Mattisau angle last year, and he kind of wept at the end when he got knocked out last year. What was his reaction this year when he got knocked out?
A little bit more stoic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went on to talk to the media and basically, say that he felt he was the best player on the table. And
did he have that cocky attitude throughout? Was he making the cracks and trying to,
Yeah, Mike made cracks, but you know what? I learned from just playing with him, Mike is a solid... Mike's a player. I respect his play. I think he had every right to talk. I mean, if he likes to talk, some people are talkers, some people aren't. I would never have a problem with somebody like that talking because, you know what? He walks the walk. He is a player, and I don't have a problem with him whatsoever. I respect his play tremendously.
Well, of course, because of some of the coverage that ESPN caught between some of the words that were spoken between him and Raymer, everyone's probably looking forward to seeing. I guess they got on the same table for a little bit, right, towards the end of the fifth day or something.
Yeah, there were some words exchanged throughout the tournament between Mike and some other players as well. But, I'll be honest. I've talked a pretty good game over the years, too, at the table. And talk is just talk. That's all it is. And it never bothers me, and I've never let it get to me emotionally talking at it.
Well, sometimes it's, it's part of somebody's style. It's almost like an angle where, you talk to them off of the table, and they're really not like that. But on the table, they're just doing that because they think that it gives them some sort of edge, So it's interesting to see. Looks like Dimitri there, he's got kings up. Kings up is good. Kings and 8s, and he's going to take it down. Now, in terms of as poker gets bigger and bigger and bigger, looks like they're officially opening up the new plaza. This is quite a sight here. You've been to the Bicycle Casino before?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah. I was playing here for a couple of months prior to going to the World Series. And this section, I came back after 3 weeks, and I was like, how did you do this?
Yeah.
My sister's been remodeling her house for 6 months, couldn't get this done.
So I was going to say you're familiar with the before and after, and actually they added the plaza level just about almost a year and a half ago. So if you've come and you haven't been to the casino here now in over, say, 18 months, it's totally like a new place.
No, it's really nice. There's some good action here.
We've also added the electronic boards that are common to a lot of Vegas card rooms, which are nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, so that was exciting to see.
I guess I can hear by the applause Joseph Hashem must be here.
Most likely.
Can you see around the room there? No?
Yeah, we can...
I hear applause, yeah. They're screaming, so... Well, I think I'm going to go back out on the floor and say hi to him.
Okay. Thanks a lot for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you for having me in here.
You.
Yeah, nice meeting you guys as well.
He's back in the tournament.
So Joseph Haysom is opening up the top level out there, and hopefully he's going to be able to make his way through here and talk with us. Well, that was some interesting. Interesting information there given by Jason, the sixth place winner. $1.5 million. That's quite a haul.
And no limit, it's
different than a
he
limit.
can raise, if he knows you're out, he can raise different.
You can raise the 100 if you're 35.
Limit though. Somebody raises, you throw it away as fast as you can. What'd you have? 18? Next hand, change your deck, okay?
There's nothing like being $7.5 million richer, too. I guess, unfortunately, you're going to have to declare that for taxes, though, because it's not like you're going to be able to hide it.
It's a lumbar 25.
Got an ace queen here. Looks like an ace queen there for seat 6. Looks like Tony has ace queen and he raised, and he's not going to get any callers.
My chips. That's a healthy dinner.
There, get a shot of Oulette. And this pot's going to get limped around, and Cuckman doesn't even complete the small blind. Must have been a pretty bad hand. We're going to see a flop 3 ways. $15 pot, ace, 8, 9. The turn is a 4. Looks like Sammy the best hand here with 4 or 5. And it gets checked around. And the river's a 9.
Show.
And 4-5 is good.
4s. Bastard. 4s are good, so.
So again, hopefully Joseph Hachem is going to be making his way to the booth.
Big one.
You can see this show and every show that we've ever streamed on Live at the Bike by signing up and subscribing to the archives. It's on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen on the On-Demander. Click on the On-Demander button. Get you all the saved action. Well, it's been at least 500 hours, I'd have to say, of shows that we've done, plus an instructional DVD from Howard Leverer. It's $14.95 a month, and it's well worth it. Of course, you can watch the stream live for free every Wednesday through Saturday from 6 to 10 o'clock. Tonight we are doing our $200 restricted buy-in, no-limit hold'em game, and I'm going to put my reputation on the line and tell you that we are not dropping the 30 game. We will have that game on Wednesday. So George can continue to come down here and play for all you ITH 2+2ers out there.
What's the difference for you? Now for you? What's the difference?
Maybe more variety. I like that strawberry chocolate.
3 players.
3-way action here, limped around. 8-8-6. Couple of clubs.
Check it out first.
That's a good point.
Come back here. Here.
Thanks.
Nowhere.
I have an 8.
Draw your poker.
Turn is an 8. And JMX is going to put a little bet out here with an ace. And he's going to take it down. So $5 bet out there and takes it down. Has not been a particularly thrilling game tonight, but as you know, it is live poker, and we're watching all the hands unedited, live, unscripted, Unlike what you see on TV where all the hands are chopped up, we see every single hand. Tomorrow night, we are probably going to be doing our $300 to $500 no limit hold'em game, restricted buy-in. Friday, of course, is our big no limit game. And Saturday, we're probably going to do this game perhaps with marker chips, as everyone seemed to have liked.
Big surprise. Never.
Wake up there in seat 5, Dave. You're just sitting down playing poker. Give us a break. Play a hand. Ugh. Mucking 5-7 off suit. And we're going to see four-way action here. It's limped around. 10-6-3. 3 clubs. I believe Dave is out of the hand. So seat 4's got a queen 10 and he checked it. And Tony has a 10, but a 4th club comes here on the turn. And it gets checked again. And the river is a 9. And queen 10 appears to be good. Seat 4 there is going to take it down. That's Hugo in seat 4. That's funny. If I wonder if Joseph H.M., I'll ask him when he comes in here, if he has to pay American income tax as well as Australian income tax. And there he is right there. He's with our marketing director, Kelly O'Hara. And if I know Kelly, I'm sure that she's probably going to be pointing him in this direction. Pocket jacks here, ace 10 of clubs. And I'm actually getting word here. Robert Turner came in, and we're going to have another very, very special guest. So stay tuned. Barry Greenstein is going to come in here for a couple of minutes. So everyone get those 2+2. Get your questions ready. Post a couple of questions up. I'll try to get through them. Barry, of course, has a book coming out, or it's out. And I'm sure that he's going to tell us about that. Barry Greenstein, of course, arguably the best, one of the best cash game players in the world, and tournament players. But I mean, he makes that transition kind of like a Phil Ivey, where he plays tournaments and cash games, the highest level cash games and tournaments. So Barry Greenstein and Joseph H.M. coming up here on Live at the Bike. Heads up here, ace jack against king 10. 9-5-4, rainbow flop. Turn is a 3. River is an ace, it gets checked down. Ace jack is going to win. And now that we've moved the table to this new position, I can actually almost run out and talk to the players there. If you look towards the right-hand side of your screen, the door to our booth is right around the corner there, and I almost want to go and run out and tell Dave, start mixing it up a little bit. let's get some action in this game. Game seems kind of deflated. Dimitri's going to raise here. He's got 9-10 of spades from seat 1. And Barry Greenstein has entered the booth. There you go. And here we go. How are you doing tonight, Barry? Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, I'm doing okay. I came here for the opening of the top section here, and also to see Joe Hatcham, and I wanted to get a few minutes of this in case I ever do a longer segment for you.
Yeah,
guys.
Absolutely. Now, tried to get a chance to talk to you when we were in Vegas. I saw that you were actually doing the Rio convention as well. We had a booth set up, and you were promoting your book. Now, your book has just come out. Tell us a little bit about that.
The book's called Ace on the River, and there's a autobiographical section, and then basically a tutorial on how to survive in the gambling society, and then there's poker instruction. And I think it's gotten great reviews. One warning: the only people who have given me any negative reviews all seem to be some internet players, because there's a lot of psychology and philosophy in the book, and some of the internet players feel that it's not necessary for their world, where they just sit in front of a computer and they don't deal with people. But outside of that, it's been a great book. As far as what people said, as far as the reviews, and it's a book that's readable by a mainstream audience. So not only can poker players read it, but people who just know poker players and want to understand how they think. It's a good book for them. And in addition, we have lots of pictures, about 250 pictures in the book, and it's a very high quality book. So I think people will, a lot of people appreciate the artistry of the book.
Well, now I have to admit that you're one of my favorite poker players.
You don't say that every time someone sits up here with you.
No. I've always been a big fan, and I think part of the reason why is because of the fact that you kind of almost put a challenge out there to tournament players and said, hey, come join some cash games. We're not going to necessarily call you the best players in the world if you don't play cash games as well.
Well, I don't mean to really call them out that much. It's just the play in tournaments is weaker than what I'm used to seeing in the side games, and sometimes that means I don't adjust properly. I've been intentionally reading some of the books that have come out lately, and to me, when I read it, I say even the books, these authors would have no shot playing in the big cash games, but that doesn't really matter. If they're able to manipulate weak players and get a lot of money from them, then they're going to be better off than I am. So a lot of times I've given people credit for playing at a certain level, and I've been wrong. And so, if you want to win tournaments, you have to be good at beating bad players. So that's a skill in itself. So I'd never go around saying that I necessarily do that better than some of the top tournament players. But the people playing my game and myself, we lick our chops at the thought of some of those guys getting in our game, because they just wouldn't be prepared. They wouldn't be experienced enough to handle it. At least that's how I feel, and I welcome them to try.
Now, what do you think about this concept? This, of course, is the first and only poker with regards to showing hole cards in a cash game, and we've done big games before. Our hole card cameras really aren't conducive to some of the mixed games that Yosh likes to host. But, we've done some big 300, 600 Hold'em games and stuff like that. We're expecting a lot of action coming up in Legends. And obviously the strategy in a live game is much different than it is in a tournament, where you can go back into your pocket and rebuy. What do you think about this?
Well, I think it's great, and I know it's a lot of people have enjoyed it, and I'm sure a lot of people are learning watching this. As a matter of fact, I don't know how much it's as a result of your pioneering work, but I've been approached many times by people who want to put the big cash games that I play on, in a similar format and put them on TV. As a matter of fact, there's one in the works right now that's about to be signed. I think a lot of the players, though, are wary of letting people see their hole cards. That's one of the things. People probably would want to be paid for that. Here, I guess a lot of these players are just glad to get the exposure, to be on television. So so they they're okay with it. But some of the big players aren't. I don't think they like it that much. And also there's a lot of ego involvement where if they're showing on TV losing a lot of money, they're not going to like that either.
Well, obviously there's a payoff. Some people say, well, I said when I asked people to come on the show, I said, well, you show your whole cards in tournaments. Well, they said, well, there's a lot of money to be made towards the end of tournaments. I don't want to give up all my secrets. That's actually what Doyle Brunson said. But he told me if he came around in Legends, he'd give it a shot. But
yeah, I will too. Hopefully I won't go off and be steaming on camera. That'd be pretty embarrassing. But
well, Barry, we really appreciate you coming by. Why don't you tell all the viewers again the name of your book and how to get it once again?
The book's Ace on the River. The easiest way to get it is Amazon.com, but Borders and Barnes & Nobles have ordered a lot of them too. It should be in most of them by now or in the next few weeks. And in the LA area, I'm sure all the casinos will be carrying it. A couple of them have it now, and I'm sure eventually they'll all have them.
Well, good luck to you in Legends. I really appreciate you coming by.
Okay, maybe one of these times I'll stop by and do some analysis. And
absolutely, you're more than welcome.
Okay,
anytime.
Okay,
thanks a lot, Barry.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yep.
Bye.
Oh, that was great. Barry Greenstein joining us, and we got another special guest here coming into the booth. The main event, World Series of Poker champion, Joseph Haitcham. And you're going to have to tell me how to correctly pronounce your last name because we've been butchering it the whole time. How do you tell us how you pronounce your last name?
It gives a lot of people trouble because it's a C, but it's pronounced as if there's an S there, so it's Hasham.
Hasham, Joseph Hasham.
Yeah.
And I just had Jason Lazar, the sixth place finisher, in here a couple minutes ago, and he was talking about how mentally exhausted he is. And I got to imagine, with the euphoria of winning the World Series of Poker and the amount of mental toughness it took, you must probably be pretty tired right now because, probably scurrying you around doing all types of promotion, sponsorship deals. I mean, how has your life changed in the last couple of weeks now?
Anytime that I'm not moving for more than 5 minutes, I'm falling asleep.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty exhausted,
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, and I'm here for a few more days before I go back home to Australia for some more madness over there. So.
Unbelievable. Tell us a little bit about poker and how it's come along in Australia. I remember interviewing somebody at the Rio that was, I think he was the president of if there's an Australian Poker Federation or something to that matter. He was saying how, poker is coming up in Australia and there aren't a lot of card rooms up there.
No, there aren't, but they're opening up everywhere now. Poker is growing phenomenally in Australia. In the card room that I play at the Crown Casino in Melbourne, they've tripled the amount of players over the last 6 to 12 months, which is great. And I presume that me winning the main event is going to have a huge positive effect on it as well.
Absolutely. I can't even imagine. Now, have you been, say, contacted by some higher-ups in government in Australia and stuff like that to congratulate you on your win? Has it gotten to that big where you're going to come home to just a wild celebration when you come back?
I think there's going to be a certain level of celebration, but not necessarily in the upper echelons of Parliament. I don't think that, it's gotten that high yet.
Well, because it's amazing how big, obviously, it is, in this country.
It's great.
And you have a very, very interesting story because people that have written about you have said that, you saved up enough money and gained enough experience in Australia before. This was your first coming over here. This was your first World Series,
It was the first time I was able to come over,
Right.
And I've been trying for a long time.
Is that just because of logistically, or you thought that this was the year where you have enough experience where you can really give it a go?
Well, I thought I was ready a long time ago, but having a young family and the commitments that come with that, it wasn't the right time. This year was the right time, so here I am.
Now, was your family able to come over at all when you realized how well you were doing?
Yeah, as soon
towards the end?
As soon as I won,
I
said to my wife, book your tickets, and they were on the plane the next day.
Yeah.
And they're here with me now,
So,
great.
And the other thing, too, is everyone's going to ask, they bring out a pile, $7.5 million, so they just cut you a cashier's check on your way out of Binion's for $7.5 million?
Kind of like, I could have a check, I could have it in chips, or I could have the money wired.
They could give it to you in chips?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It was my choice. They even said if I wanted, I could have it in cash, but I mean, I'm not that silly, so.
Not that silly. And the other funny thing that I was saying, too, is obviously a lot of people win a lot of money online, playing poker online, and you tend not to have to report 100% of it. Well, this is so well known. You're going to get taxed in a couple of countries, here and in Australia?
Well, fortunately in Australia, gaming isn't taxed.
Oh.
So Uncle Sam took his chunk.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll be exempt in Australia.
Wow.
It should be.
So what do you attribute what do you think the most important thing that allowed you to go so far and win the tournament was? Was it your experience? Did you feel that you had, obviously you must have had a lot of luck as well, but what really prepared you for such a tournament with such a big field?
I think the thing that helped me the most was that I never lost sight of the goal. The goal was winning the bracelet.
Yeah.
And having my wife supporting me every night and telling me to hold in there because she believed in me was worth everything.
Yeah. So you're going back and calling her almost every night and talking about that?
Yeah, and talking it over. And she's saying, no, you're doing really well. You're going to come top 20. You're going to come top 10. You're going to win. I mean, it's nice to hear that sort of stuff from people that you love, from your wife.
No, obviously none of this stuff. I mean, it's been filmed, but it hasn't been shown on ESPN now. I can't even imagine how I would feel, if I flop a straight, and then now someone's going to push me all in now here on the turn. I mean, what was that feeling like? Could you even contain?
Steve must have been really tired because my heart was going boom, 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 pumping out of my chest. I think, I've just got to contain it and try and get through the hand.
Yeah.
And fortunately I did. So.
Unfortunately you did, and you made an unbelievable win. Tell us in the next couple minutes here, too, about some of the things that you're doing now. Have you picked up some sponsorship and stuff like that? You're going to be able to enter a lot of tournaments for free coming up?
Yeah, there's lots of... We've had lots of talks with lots of different people.
Yeah.
It's still early days. I still haven't even come down from it all yet. So
yeah.
I'm talking to everybody and listening to what they have to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back home, unwind for a couple of weeks, think about where my goal is going to be,
right.
For the next 12 months to 2 years,
and
make some decisions based on that.
Now, are you going to play a little bit in Legends here, or are you going to be going home?
No, I'm going on Saturday.
You're going home Saturday. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of pokered out at the moment.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Well, thank you very, very much for stopping by. It's been a great pleasure, and good luck with all your adventures over the next year, and hope to see you again there next year.
Thank you very much. And I must say that what you're doing here is great. I think it's great for poker.
Oh, you like the televised cash games?
Yeah, I think it's great.
With the whole cards? Well, maybe we can get you on the show sometime.
Pleasure.
All right.
So much.
Thanks a lot for coming back.
Thank you.
And as we are going to ceremonially do, as we have poker superstars walk through the Live at the Bike booth, we're going to get Mr. Hashim to sign our board back here. And here we go. There you go.
Okay. 4 players. I've had 3-5 like 19 times.
Well, thank you very much for stopping by again. Good luck.
I check.
And we're back. And we're back to our good old $200 no limit hold'em restricted game. Well, I think it was very, very nice for those two gentlemen to stop by. And Joseph Hashim, he said that he was going to go back to Australia on Saturday. But hopefully we're going to see a lot more of Barry Greenstein coming up, and we're going to be able to get him on the booth and do some analysis, some guest analysis, and some commentary. Well, looks like we got Scott Groves joining. Scott Groves is joining us in the booth here.
Got the B team back for one night only. I feel like I'm coming off the bench, Chucky Atkins or something like that.
Scott, I'm actually going to be out of the booth for about 5 minutes.
All
so
right.
Here you go.
Right
it's your
on.
Time
back
to shine again.
Back to the A team. Looks like we got a classic race situation here. Ace Queen against pocket sixes. Looks like we're going to get some money in the middle. Oh, sorry, already a flop out there. Sixes are still good. And as all the hoopla proceeds next door for the World Series of Poker Championship party, we will hang out here and try to bring you some exciting action. And the turns of 3 making pocket sixes all the more stronger. And actually couldn't tell who won there, unfortunately. Hands got slid out and I walked out in the middle of the hand, so apologize about that, guys. I'm sure you guys are sharp enough to figure it out.
You go 125, you go 125. It's 125. Now it's 25.
And in case I haven't mentioned it yet tonight, Legends of Poker starts tomorrow here at the Bicycle Casino. First event of Legends of Poker, it's a $200 buy-in, and for some reason the first event of every one of these big tournaments seems to attract several hundred people, so they're expecting a real large field tomorrow. Minimum guarantee of 50,000, but I'm sure it'll get well above that. So far this orbit, or this round, not too much exciting. A suited ace-7, suited queen. I haven't been in the booth since we got the new upgrades to Live at the Bike, and I'm in love here. I think I'm going to quit my day job. And looks like the flop is 7-9 queen, 7-9 jack. And ace-7 here, still with the best hand. And it looks like Tony's going to... Oh, my mistake. Tony river to straight. And he bets it, and it looks like everyone's going to throw away here. Raised at 45 after a $15 bet. My mistake. Getting up to speed here, guys. Sorry. And Queen 8 going to raise it here with the flush. I guess Tony didn't get quite the miracle card he was looking for. Straight, no good. I'm a big fan actually here of seat 6 betting out his flush, not trying to get sneaky with it, because as is, he got raised by an inferior hand and gets a chance to put even more money into the pot. And it looks like Tony might make a frustration call here. I think Tony's going to make a crying call for what looks like an additional $60 or so here. Looks like we got all the usual suspects out here in 2+2 land. Russ McGinley, Kev Math, all the regulars. Nice to see you guys again. And it looks like we got a King 7, King 9, pocket 8s. And you can see there's seat 9, Dimitri, showing off his Poker Blue spinner. One of the new online gaming sites is actually giving out free roll tournaments and free seats to the main event Legends here in at the Bicycle Casino at the end of Legends. So the main event, $5,000 buy-in. You can actually win a seat or a free roll from Poker Blue, which is one of the spinners we got out there tonight. He did not pay me $1 to say that, actually. But I myself am trying to win one of those free roll seats because I don't feel like ponying up $5,000 for a Legend seat. And looks like we got a bunch of nothing. Ace-6 appears to be the best hand so far. And it looks like seat 2 is going to come in for a raise here with pocket deuces. And Tony is all in seat 7 with, what is he all in there with? Looks like 9-10 offsuit. And pocket deuce is actually the best hand, but ace looks like ace-6 is going to make the call. And ace on the flop, pocket deuce is no good. Tony doesn't improve here unless he goes runner-runner, so it looks like he's going to have to make a rebuy. And ace-6 is good.
No, it's not the bicycle. It's actually a rule where you can see the reason in the rule actually is to stop collusion. I know exactly. Right. But if abused, it's not really. The reason isn't. I don't feel I abuse. I don't ask every time. No, I'm not accusing you, sir. Don't take it personal. I don't ask every. A lot of times.
And looks like we got Queen 9, a King 3, pocket aces for seat 5, which is kind of ironic because there's some jawing going back and forth, and now he's going to wake up with a big hand. And when people are kind of mouthing off and then they make a raise, it makes it look a little suspect, actually. So I think you might get some extra added action here with aces, even from hands that shouldn't really call them.
You played in a real big game. I think you made $50. Yeah. $15 total. $8 in the pot. I don't want. No. There's $13 in the pot. Oh.
And he's going to get no action, unfortunately.
I don't want to be called. Yeah, it's better than me. I don't want to be called. I want to win a nice small pot, and that'll be it.
And David, as usual, up to his normal hijinks.
My goal is to get you stuck. $25.
So Tuckman gets aces and he doesn't get paid off.
Okay. We get some service and cocktail, please. Cocktail.
Oh, we got a new player there in seat 9, it looks like.
New player, new blood. I was going to sit down at this game a little bit earlier, Bart, but I was in the process of getting cleaned out with the best hand at the 3 to 500 game, which is always sexy.
Well, I got to tell you, this game is kind of, it's almost like slow death. Hasn't been a lot of action.
Looks like all the queens are out. Queen Jack, Queen King, and Queen 10, or Queen 8, I mistake.
I mean, you can put them on there if you want. I put them on there every time just as a habit. Oh. If they don't, it only goes on the screen if you're in the hand. Okay. You got like goose 7, you don't like it. Okay, $19.
Dimitri's over there in seat 1. He's got a little poker blue chip.
We were just talking about that.
Oh, yeah?
Just talking about the free rolls that you can win with Legends. And if a... You can also go to Paradise Poker and Hollywood Poker, apparently, all running satellites for the Legends. Free roll type scenarios and all that fun stuff. It looks like the flop comes down Jack high.
Jack 3-8, so JMX has got the top pair. And I was talking to Shirley. Remember when we used to ride BMXs?
BMX.
When we were little? And I had the pegs on the back of my bike.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
I wasn't much of a biker. I was more of a Prayer of the Roller Boys type guy.
Oh.
Now look at this. King Queen turns a gut shot. He's going to peel. And it doesn't get there.
So Queen 10 there, yeah.
I just hate when the gut shots don't get there. And quite a star-studded event here tonight, Bart. You've been out seeing Greenstein signing some of his book copies, and Yosh out there making the rounds.
Yeah, well, Greenstein just came in here right before you, Scott. What a way to follow up. We got Barry Greenstein, and then we got Joseph Hacham, and then we got Scott Grove.
Wow. So what we could trade off is I'll take Greenstein's bankroll, I'll take Hatcham's good fortune, and they can take my job here, and we'll be set to go. I'm actually halfway through Greenstein's new book, and it's phenomenal. It's not a lot of ABC poker stuff. It's a lot of good psychological warfare type stuff, weathering the good times and the bad times as a poker player. It's a much more personalized view of poker than what we're kind of used to in the standard ABC, this is how you play your handbooks. It's really excellent.
And he was saying, I haven't had a chance to read it, but I want to get it. And he was saying also that the only negative comments he's gotten were kind of from, say, internet players that think that books should be ABC and all that. But yeah, that sounds interesting.
No,
to me.
there's about 37 books on Amazon you can buy for ABC Poker. I'm kind of more interested in the psychology of the bit and whatnot. And it's an excellent book so far, and it has pictures.
Yes, he said there was over 250 pictures.
Lots of pictures, so you don't have to get caught up on the text.
Oh, Hugo's got trip jacks here. He checked the
down.
turn for some reason. I don't know why. Now he's going to bet the river.
It looked like they were almost going to check it down there, and then, of course, when you hit your trips, I guess you don't have to check so much anymore.
So tomorrow night we're going to be doing our 3 to 5 game on the table. And on Wednesday, we're back to the 30-60. Back to the 30-60. Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Oh, next Wednesday, back to the
yeah.
30-60.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow
I don't want
will
people
either,
to give up on that game because it's coming back.
Tomorrow night, hopefully, I won't have anything to do with you, Bart, because I'll be playing in the tournament. And if I come see you by the time you're off shift, then you'll know it was a bad night at the tournament table for me.
16. Bloody Mary for the gentleman. White wine for the gentleman. Anybody else want to drink? How about a bottle of water?
Tap water.
And it looks like, once again, we got not a whole lot interesting going on in this hand, Bart.
Nope.
Amit, would you like a drink?
Yeah, Louis 13.
Get him a Pepsi.
Dimitri's got an ace jack there in seat 1. Looks like he brought it in for about 15.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be enough to take it down.
White wine and a Bloody Mary.
And Bart, long time ago, we were having a conversation, actually, and makes you sit up when you see yourself on screen. We were having a conversation, maybe we can pose it to the 2+ tours. We were talking about you can download a software online to keep track of, like, when you're playing spades or hearts on what the discard cards were. And you're saying, wouldn't it be awesome if there was a similar program for, like, 7-card stud?
Right.
And I don't think there would be anything illegal with that because it's just keeping track of the cards. And I found something
you have
similar.
The program?
I found something similar.
Can I start multi-tabling 7-card stud high-low?
You have
Please.
to. The problem is you have to pay a severe amount of money to get it. I've only found it in one place online. So maybe there's some 2+2ers out there or some savvy internet surfers that can find us a free 7-card tracker so that you can multi-table high-low. Because I think that's one of the more profitable games on the internet. But it's so hard to multi-table.
Well, you mean what do you mean by severely pay?
Oh, like just for the download software, which who knows? I don't even know if it works. It's just on some random site. It's like $99.99. Like, $100 to take the word of somebody on a download on the internet. It's non-PayPal. Also, you have to charge directly through your credit card. And I didn't like that at all. So,
well, you got to get me that information. But anyways, if anyone's out there in internet land, that's a great thing. Tell us if there's any stud trackers out there. And I know that there's a program called Stud Tracker, but we're not talking about, say, Poker Tracker. Which
we're not talking about our hands.
Yeah, we're not talking about tracking our own hands. We're talking about graying out dead discards or cards that are dead.
Right.
Now, like I said, I used a Hearts card counter before to play online Hearts, and they have those, so they must have them for stud.
They've got it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because it would be nice to know if your two-pair draw was live and
or you
things
mean
of that nature.
Especially like in a, I don't really play stud high, but in a stud high low game as James there. Looks like Hugo bet here with 3-4. James checked and Hugo bet. James has got Queen 9.
Only 9 half flush you got?
And he mucks. And Hugo, that was a good card to bluff at the board with. Third club there came
Exactly.
on over. I don't really play stud high, but especially in a stud high low game, people that are familiar with the game, you can know a lot about. You know a lot about the game or what the person has, because according to what cards are dead. If it paired them, if it's probably put them on a good low draw, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's so hard to multi-table because really all you're looking for is starting with 3 low cards, and if you miss a discard, it severely skews the odds.
Yeah.
I just got a delivery for a 1 Tangerine and Tonic, so I'm pretty excited.
Which blinds?
$20 blind.
Now Tuckman's going to raise here $20. He's got 7-5 suited.
I was going to make it 15. You said 20.
And Barry told us, Scott, that he's going to come by and do some analysis, which would be absolutely wonderful.
Sweet.
For him to come by on a Friday and get some big no-limit hold'em analysis in here. Seems like he loves to do it.
He's only about, he's only probably about 25, 30 minutes down the road from us, I imagine. Palos Verdes. Not too far.
Well, that's what they say his home is, Palos Verdes. I always wonder when poker players say that's where their home is. Chris Ferguson lists his hometown as Palisades. I mean,
I'm sure.
I don't know.
I'm sure if they're playing at that level, they can afford dual residence. So how's Live at the Bike been going, Bart? I haven't been in here about a week or so.
Well, we've had some great action. Got some marker chip. Marker chip games on Saturdays seem to be going pretty well. When everyone wins a pot, they win a marker chip. The person with the most chips at the end of the show wins a bounty.
Very cool.
That's a lot of action.
Looks like the best hand we have here is Ace Jack with Tuckman again.
Actually, Hugo's got the Ace Jack.
My mistake.
Tuckman's got Deuce 3 of hearts. So if hearts comes, he's in trouble.
Yeah, Tuckman a little dominated here.
Yeah.
Now I got to put them on the end.
So Dave there in seat 5 has got Deuce 3 of hearts.
Leave him there. Seriously, you got to put him in.
We got to leave him there.
To leave him there. It's part of the game.
And seat 9's got Ace 8 suited, so.
Time. Oh, okay. What he got? Number 9.
And it got raised to 15, I think, by the button. So we're going to see 4-way action. Again, Dave in C5 has Deuce 3 of hearts.
Ace Jack looking real pretty, and 9-10 flops a gut shot.
Ace Jack's going to bet. As David said, the pot was about 80. It looked like he bet about 50 into that pot.
I like that bet. That's about right. Not going to commit too many chips in case somebody comes over the top all in for you, which I think you'd have to call right here probably, but.
Ace 8 lays it down. And like you said, James got the gut shot there. Did he 8? You need to catch an 8.
Look at it. Okay,
And he mucks.
Yeah, it looks like James is going to take that one down.
Someone's coming into the table named Bart Scott. I don't believe it.
Nice.
Is that some sort of joke? Actually, we've had another guy named Bart on the table before.
Bart, all joking aside, how horrible was it growing up once The Simpsons came out?
Well, luckily, I had just escaped elementary school before The Simpsons came out there.
Okay.
Got out of elementary school in, 5th grade was 89 to 90. So,
Okay,
you
you're
know,
okay.
Simpsons really didn't become a part of pop culture until a couple years after it started.
That's
so.
true. Luckily, no sassy fictional characters for me. Looks like seat 2 has Ace 9 and seat 6 with Ace 10.
Well, Bart in seat 8 has
sorry.
got the Ace 10.
I'm still getting used to this new setup here.
Yeah.
Too bad we can't get a full inside shot that's panned because it's pretty sexy in here now.
Oh, wow. Ace 9 King. So JMX is flopped up and down there in seat 2, and Bart's got a top pair.
Big spiker, and really not much in there to outdraw him. Obviously, the 10 would be healthy for Bart, but.
And Bart bets 15 as JMX checked the ace-9. Let's see if he check raises here out of seat 2. And Dave's got a flush draw with 4-5 of spades in seat 5. And now the check raise. And Dave's got 4-5 of spades, and he mucks. 45 is a little too much there to go chasing.
And ace-10 is going to insta-call here. I mean, maybe he puts the guy in a flush draw, but really, you don't really check raise for the free card when you're out of position. So
it's about a $110 pot now.
I think this is about time to get rid of your...
Oh, the turn is a jack of spades. Dave would have made the flush.
I think this is about time to get rid of your ace-10. The only problem now is he's got to redraw to the straight should a queen come. But even if he hits his 10, he can't be too comfortable with a one-card straight out there. So, if I'm putting in a lot of money into this pot, I got to think I'm drawing dead to a queen just about.
And he calls, so now the pot's about $200, and the river's a deuce of spades. No one has a spade. And Dave probably would have liked the turn card lot, but not the river.
Now, here's where I would really like, if ace-10, wants to commit a lot of chips, if he was willing to call the turn, this is where I'd like to see him maybe commit some chips on a bluff with the scare card there, especially if it gets checked to him.
It's about a $200 pot here.
I think if he gets checked to him and he puts in about 75 or 100, like a half pot size bet, I think he's going to take it down. Because there's now a straight out there, there's a flush out there, one card flush, mind you. And I think a healthy $75 or $100 bet's going to take it down.
Well, ace-9 bets here from early position. Looks like he bet about $60 into a $200 pot.
Obvious defensive bet.
Oh, how about a call here? I don't like that, though. I don't like the call.
Horrible call.
He might have a cool name, but that's not cool poker.
Yeah, that was not cool poker. God, that's what in all the hours that we've been doing Live at a Bike, I think that's the gayest thing you've said. Not that there's anything wrong with that, if that's who you are, but I'm just saying.
I had Ice King of
On the button, you didn't hit me with 6, 7 spades?
Yeah. I had Ice King of Spades, but I'm not. Because I knew there were 2 of them in the deck.
And for those of you that haven't been down here today, they just opened a huge new section at the Bicycle Casino here. A lot more action going on than there used to be. A lot more reminiscent kind of the Bellagio setup, and the higher limit games are now up top. And it's, oh, there we go. Panning over our new, I guess they added about 25 tables. It's just a real nice kind of tiered setup, Tiered like a waterfall. You must bring us another shrubbery. Anyone? Anyways. So if you guys make it down here either for Legends or some cash games, got to check out the new digs.
Check on the flop.
Look at all this junk, and Queen 6 is going to pick it up.
On the river.
Nobody want to make a stab at that pot? Come on, money is money.
One card straight to the board on the end. Oh, there's Brian there in seat number 7, the dealer. Brian's coming to seat 7.
That's rare.
Well, I don't like to make gross stereotypes, but normally dealers are usually going to be pretty good for the game, if you know what I mean.
I totally agree. Usually when a dealer sits down, I start salivating.
Yeah.
I got my first diss of the night on 2+2 that I'm awful. You got your loyal followers there, Bart.
Bottle of red, bottle of wine.
And seat 9 looks like it's auditioning for American Idol, trying to serenade the cocktail waitress. That always works.
We'll have 3 people in here. Let's see the flop.
Looks like the flop is 6 deuce 10. Nobody with a pair.
Oh, a couple people, ace 6 and king 6.
Missed the 6.
Button's going to bet here in position with king 6.
And I imagine ace 6 is going to make a call here. He does.
So we're going to see turn card. Turn is a 9 of hearts, and it goes check, check, and the river's a 10. And actually, the river is a 5. Excuse me. River is a 5. And ace 6 is going to be good. Check, check on the turn. Check, check on the river. Ace 6 takes it down.
Yeah, I like the button making a stab at there. Once he gets called, he's pretty much done with the hand. He got lucky to check it down as it was.
A lot of diamonds. And ace 10, ace deuce, and ace 5. This guy's got real trouble. Oh, here we go. There's a limp there. Queen jack of diamonds. Tuckman's got an ace 5 suited. He's going to play.
Means nothing.
So let's see if this case ace comes here. It's going to be interesting.
Should be interesting. It doesn't. Looks like deuce 4 something on the flop.
Deuce 4-10. There we go.
So 8-10 actually goes from worst to first. Oh, my mistake. Bart's in there with ace 10, the real hand. Having such a hard time commentating with Bart and commentating on Bart.
JMX there in seat 2. He's got 8-10, so he might get into a little bit of trouble. Looks like Bart bet about $15 or $20 there. The ace 10.
There's about 25 in the pot, right? 5-6 limpers.
Yep. So now the pot's about $50, 25 to call.
I'll pass it.
And JMX is going to lay down top pair there. And Bart takes it down.
I guess he learned that from last time.
Well, he's a deuce. I got a lot of them.
There's Brian, the dealer, in seat 7 with the green shirt.
Man, very little.
Wow, four-way action was a $15 raise there. I think Tuckman raised it up with 8-9 of hearts.
Tuckman loves a suited connector.
Or actually, he's got ace-5. Wow, he's playing ace-5 offsuit there, actually. And he flopped top pair. He's going to bet. Looks like $20. Now look at this. Brian quickly makes a call with a 9 and a backdoor flush draw.
And I think that's one of the advantages and or you can call it disadvantage of being a dealer. You see people play all day and just do some real wild stuff. So I think dealers are kind of prone to make some calls where, regular solid players might not.
Turn is a jack. And look at this. Dave actually checked the turn and checked the river there.
Well, I think once you get called with your 5 kicker, you might be done with it.
Well, I think that he was a little concerned that Brian might have had a weak ace that might have been a little better.
A not so weak ace.
That's what he's saying.
He didn't scare me. He didn't bet. Calls never scare me. Only bets. Bets and raises scare me.
I don't know. Dave better calm down, man. He's trying to talk as much as Phil Hellmuth.
Weak ace.
Look at this guy.
Just considering the only place
Taking a little break from the game.
Hearts would have been nicer. Backdoor hearts.
7, 9, 10. 2 hearts. Look at this. Brian's got deuce 7 of hearts. He's picked up a pair and a flush draw. The turn is a queen of spades.
Absolutely no help.
Check, check. The river is a jack, and deuce 7 is still good.
8 there makes it straight.
Oh, that now 1 card
Ace
straight.
Yep. Bart makes the 1 card straight, which you can't feel too comfortable about.
And Sammy has it there too.
Brian actually, if he would have bet out the turn there, I think he takes it down with nobody really showing much. Nobody showing much but a gut shot.
Of course, Scott, check calling and calling usually is not the best strategy in No Limit. You'd like to show aggression, semi-bluffs, bluffs.
I only like to call when I put.
And wait a minute. Did Sammy muck the straight? Sammy mucked the straight. Maybe he was afraid of the third spade there. He mucked ace 8. Well, he made such a bet there on the river. Maybe he didn't want to risk it just for a chop pot.
Yeah. And, you got the sucker end when it's gone check, check, check. Very likely somebody's got a king.
Well, yeah, and actually, yeah, you're right. It was 1 card to the king there, too. So he mucked the bottom end of the straight. Anyone with the king would have had a higher straight. Didn't want to get involved.
It looks like we got king tray, ace 3, 9, 10. Man, 9, 10 seems to be coming out a lot tonight. No one's winning with it, of course, but... So you're looking forward to Legends starting tomorrow, Bart? Playing any events?
Well, You know, the nights that we are dark here, Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays, possibly.
Let me know when the blinds come to me.
Done. Okay.
Now I have to put these down here.
Right, exactly. Just like that. Both cards. There you go.
And it looks like Ace 10's got everybody dominated here. Looks like we got Pocket Queens actually in seat 9. All of a sudden decided to actually put his hand over the card. He raises it. And he gets called by Ace 10, so...
Yeah, and here we go to the flop. Jack, deuce, deuce. Well, this is probably going to be pretty easy for Brian to get away from.
And Pocket Queens checks. I think that's a horrible check there, out of position.
And Brian
Trying to
checks
get
right
check
behind
raised.
him. Turn card is a...
Turn card's an ace.
Turn card's an ace. Look at that. And it goes check, and Brian bets, and Brian takes it down. So the queens, like you said, he checks. Brian takes a free card and spikes his over card on the turn. Wow.
I don't think you can ever check a big pair out of position. You know, if you don't want to get tricky with it, and I've read TJ Cloutier say many times, you know, you bet your hand and hope to God somebody has something to get you paid off with, because you give away free cards like that and stuff, and all of a sudden an inferior hand with a 3-card outer comes from behind and takes you down.
Pocket 9s, ace king, and ace queen. Pocket 4s. Interesting. Seat number 6 there, he's going to make it 20 to go. He's got pocket 9s.
And seat 9 all in with ace king. It's going to make it real hard for ace queen here to call. Looks like about 124.
Yeah, ace queen's an instant fold here on this spot. He's going to muck, and he does. Yeah. Pocket 4s. I don't really know what he's thinking about here, too. Now, Sammy, I think he made this call with pocket 9s before, and he was up against kings earlier in the night. So he made a $20 raise, and ace-king came over the top to make it, I think it's 124 total.
And at this part, the hard thing is you're one of two things. You're a coin flip or you're dominated.
Right.
You know, it's very rarely people, I mean, I guess in this game people will put in their last $100, $120 with pocket 4s, pocket 5s, just trying to pick it up. But most likely you're either A, dominated, or B, you're a coin flip.
Well, I mean, again, you look at the range of hands, and this is how you figure out if you want to make this call. Let's say 50% of the time you think the guy has ace-king. Well, 50% of the time you're going to be about a 55% favorite. But the other 50% of the time he has a higher pair than you, you're going to be a 4-1 dog.
Yeah.
So you multiply those numbers together, and you really got to figure out where you want to be.
Really, the only thing, if you call here, that you want to see is pocket 8s or ace-9 or some crazy ace-deuce, the guy's on ultra tilt. But really,
Yeah.
I don't think this is an easy call at all at 9s. They make it look so easy on TV, especially in tournament play.
Right,
where,
when you're short-chipped.
you know,
Well,
if
he's going to
you're-
make the call.
He's going to make the call, which I don't think is the correct call. But the problem in a tournament, you know, you only get a finite amount of hands, and obviously pocket 9s are theoretically 6th best.
Yeah. 2-7
Ace-king
queen.
misses.
Oh, there's the
there
king.
it is.
He's going to have to hit the 9. No, it doesn't come.
Doesn't come.
Ace-king's going to win.
down.
Now, obviously, if I look and see my opponent's cards, which again, fundamental theory of poker, you know, if you saw your opponent's cards, what would you do in the spot? Well, in a cash game, if you've got pocket 9s and someone has ace-king, you make that call 100% of the time because you're ahead.
Right.
Obviously. Now, in a tournament, even if you know he has ace-king, you might not make the call because you don't necessarily push a lot of, push small edges, because if it's going to make you broke, then you can't take edges, later down the line that are, better for you.
And the other thing, Bart, one thing I don't think is addressed enough in cash games, because so much of the writing is focused towards tournaments and whatnot. When you have a hand like pocket 9s, one of the big powers of pocket 9s is that if you have a deep stack and you see a ragged flop that doesn't have, more than one overcard, you can push the flop and eliminate somebody with ace-king from seeing the last 2 cards for free. The problem is the all-in completely neutralizes any control you have over the hand, because he's going to see all 5 cards for free. He's going to see all 5 cards for the all-in, and it neutralizes any edge. If you can eliminate somebody by flopping a pair just on the flop opposed to all 5 cards, he goes from, a coin flip to about 30-70, and, that's huge, and unfortunately, once somebody's all in, there's not much you can do with 9s. Of course, contrary to what we had to say, it almost held up, but of course, king on the turn, and that's all she wrote.
I think somebody went all in here from the blinds. It might be Bart, seat 8. Queen 10. Wow. Yep, and he did. He picked up the limpers.
You raised 100, you raised all in. If I raised all in, you raised all the 9s. Last trap. He almost folded 100. Call 500.
And the big thing is, if I've got more chips, I don't make it 100 anyway. Right, but I've got $100.
There's some Cockney for you.
Got to call 20.
Little northern English.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually more interested in the commentary as if I had more than 100, maybe I would play well. But that last $100, I have to purge it. I have to purge that last unlucky $100, Bart. I have to play bad with that in order to get rid of it. That's my favorite.
Well, I think it has to do with if you're right on that spot where you can rebuy. Like if you have like 110, you might gamble it up a little bit. So you either go broke and you can bring yourself back to 300, or you double through.
So I think I'm gonna have to leave you here all on your lonesome here pretty soon, Bart. I'm running low on my drink, and we're gonna have to make something happen.
Well, 3, 4, 8 here, 2 clubs. Bart's got overcards and a flush draw on seed 8, and it looks like Tuckman has bet 25 here with the ace 3. Well, you bet it if you don't think anybody in it.
And here's the nice semi-bluff I like. And Tuckman knows even if he's got 2 big cards with a flush draw or something like that, he's an underdog. I think this is an easy fold for Tuckman.
It depends on how much money is in there, though. It looks like it's all in for maybe another 50. 67 there. Pot was 20. Dave bet 20, so that's 40. Then there's a call, 60 plus whatever the raise is.
If Tuckman had some type of redraw here, like the ace of clubs or a 5 or a 6, something that completes a gut shot, I think it's an easy call. But just with a naked 3, naked bottom pair, who knows? Maybe this guy's making the same move with ace 4, ace 8, and you're drawing virtually dead.
He's trying to figure out the odds if the guy is just on a flush draw, which in this case he is. But, if the guy has an 8, now Tuckman has an overcard, well, he mucks. He shows King Jack, and actually, King Jack there, probably with 2 cards to come, is a slight favorite over ace 3.
Yeah. The only neutralizing factor that Tuckman can't hit is ace, and it's over for the pair draws.
Of course, the ace of clubs, though.
Yeah, if you had the ace of clubs, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Oh, I was just saying the ace of clubs. Well, I'm going to sign off here, Bart, and go grab myself another drink back next door and see what happens. So it was nice seeing you all again, and maybe I'll see you next week.
All right, Scott. Thanks a lot.
That's not bad play. You got overcards. You made a big bet even. You got overcards. You got a bunch of chances there. Thank you.
The fun just never stops here, live at the bike again. Barry Greenstein, Joseph Haysham, Scott Groves. It's like seat number 6 there has got King Jack suited, King Jack of hearts. Seat number 8 there, Bart. He's going to come in. Or Bart has King Jack of hearts. There we go. Seat 6 has got Jack 10 of spades. He raised it up to 20. And we're heads up. Jack 10 against King Jack. Sammy's dominated, but he was the original raiser. And we're going to see a flop. 9, 10, 8. Wow, what a flop for Jack 10. Top pair and an open-ended straight draw. Of course, Bart's got an open-ended straight draw, too. $25 bet here by Jack 10. And a call there by Bart. It's about a $95 pot now. Turn is a 5.
5-3 might be good.
Yeah, $95 pot. It's like a $50 bet here. So that makes it $145, and a call makes it $195. So $195 pot. Now, if a queen comes, Bart's going to make the nut straight. And if a 7 comes, they're going to chop it up. Oh, the river's a 10. Sammy's made trips. $195 in this pot. And I just don't think that there's no way that Bart's going to be able to call here. And that might have been a spot where, looking at Bart's chip stack, maybe Sammy might have wanted to check to induce a bluff there. Got to think that there's a pretty good chance that the guy might have a 7 or a jack there in his hand. Of course, Sammy had a jack, so the chances that your opponent's going to have a jack is less. But you might have wanted to try to check to induce a bluff there on the river.
All in for 72.
And seat number 9 is going to move all in. For $72, he has, can't quite tell what he has. Seat number 9 cannot quite tell what he has.
Two callers.
Someone's got ace queen of spades and has called. It's seat 3. Again, we don't know what seat 9 has here. Oh, seat 9. Oh, seat 9 is not in the hand. It looked like there were a bunch of chips in front of him. I thought he said all in. Well, it's Brian there in seat 7. Bart in seat 8. And Hugo in seat 4. Oh, I see. Seat 8 is all in with pocket 4s. So we have 3 players, and now one of them's all in, and we're heads up between Brian and Hugo. Pocket 4s against pocket 5s. 8 deuce 8 here on the flop. Now I was going to say, you're not going to try to let these guys peel you off for the main pot. You got to put a bet in there if you've got pocket 4s or 5s, and he does bet. Turn is a 10, and the river is a deuce. And pocket 5s is good here. Hugo's going to take it down. That's a great bet by Hugo on the flop. He's heads up against Brian. Now, obviously, they're building a side pot, but that's not your concern. He has to protect his hand for the main pot. You can't allow Brian to take free cards and hit an ace or a queen. So he bet Brian off of the hand.
He doesn't call. I need chip.
Chips, the question is, can I call his bet on the turn?
Oh, there's no decision now. If I'm going all in.
Oh.
Number 8. I'm not just calling.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure I see all 5 cards.
Oh, sorry.
Raise, make a 16 total.
Seat 3 is raised to 16 with King Jack suited.
How come nobody asked me why I bet this like?
Tuckman's got an ace rag.
How much 16?
I have.
See that?
I'm stuffing now and I'm refusing.
And he's going to make the call there in position with ace rag.
That's what I meant, but I've been playing to
Interesting. We're going to have to give him a lot of garbage here for playing this. Some raggy hands, but he likes to play a lot of hands in position, so we're going to see a flop here. About a $50 pot, 6-7 suited, King Jack suited, Ace-7 offsuit. King 8-4, nice flop for King Jack.
Check.
6-7 has a gut shot to the 5.
Heading 50.
And King Jack bets $50 into about a $50 pot. $100 in the pot, 50 to call. JMX lays it down, and James takes it down. Again, you can watch this stream every Wednesday through Saturday from 6 to 10 Pacific time. Live at the Bike has been and will always will be free live. If you want to watch the past shows, click on the on-demand banner, lower right-hand side of your screen. Sign up for the archives. Get you about, it's got to be at least 500 to 600 hours of stored poker. Tuckman had pocket 10s, and it didn't look like he raised. Interesting. Flop is Ace-Jack-7. Actually, maybe he did put a little raise in there pre-flop. Bart quickly mucks the second pair. And Tuckman takes it down with the second best hand. Thanks for the link there, Funky Worms on 2+2 regarding the stud question I have.
several of the table when I say it's really warm. Rays. Those should get more kinos. Like those are called kinos. Those over there, those are really hot. Those are good when you get it all. And a little air conditioning.
Because I want to lose weight, so. I'll call and tell them again. You know, it's the first day I'm not so sure there's anything we can do about it today.
Fan.
But I'll do what I can do. We got fans over there.
That's a new table. My kingdom. Small blind, big blind.
I'm the small block.
Of course, Legends is starting tomorrow night. And actually, the events start at 4:15 this year. Every day. Normally, during the week, we did events at 7:15, but Legends is starting at 4:15. And I believe the inaugural event is a $200 no-limit Hold'em tournament. What a way to kick it off. It's going to be packed. Pocket Queens here for seat 3 under the gun. It looks like he made it about 25 to go. And look at this. Brian's going to call with an ace suited. Ace 9 suited. Wow. What a nice draw for Brian. 8-5-6.
I don't know why you care, though. Okay. Most of the people that
Couple of spades. Brian's got a gut shot and a flush draw, and he's going to call. And his overcard is good. All in. Turn is a 5. River's a king. Brian didn't get there, and Brian's gone down broke.
You should have played.
I should.
King 5.
2 for no spades, huh?
Still a dog.
Sheet open.
There's still a dog.
Come on, yeah. Sheet open.
Small blind, big blind.
And it's called in one spot. The block comes queen blank blank. This guy bets. This guy shows his pocket aces and throws them away. This guy shows his pocket queen. No, off the flop. The block comes queen blank blank. This guy bet another 100. This guy showed his aces and mucked them. And this guy showed.
Tony total.
And this guy showed his pocket queen.
Was there a raise before the 100?
No?
You just bet out 100.
Bet out 100.
And you got the aces thrown away.
After the flop. Yep.
So Queens gave away.
Coin toss, right?
How about how much queen? World Series. Race with an ace king.
So we got about a half an hour left in the show. Again, we are live at the bike doing a $200 restricted buy-in no-limit game. We will have our 30-60 game back next week, I promise.
Did you say Helmet had ace king? So he had 3 aces?
3 aces with a king kicker.
So why did he muck it?
The guy had pocket fours.
Oh, look at this. More and more coming in. How you doing? Kenna James coming into the booth. Hey, everyone's drinking but me. What's going on here?
You know, they show you one hand. Remember, Helmet was playing with this guy for 6 hours. Maybe the guy only bet when he had
There we go.
I'm sorry, Bart. I should have brought you a cocktail.
Somebody get me a cocktail.
Where's the pizza? Hey, this is a new location, a new setup we got here.
It is.
How you doing, Bart?
It
It's
is.
good to
How
see
you
you.
doing? Look, we got new setup. We got the whole card cameras over there.
That guy's name is James.
Yeah. We got names
Wow.
here. And then if Isaac gets tricky enough, he's going to switch to the remote camera after this hand. And then you get to see.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. I didn't know that. I would have brushed my hair. Holy cow. I had to fix the lid there.
So you're here for the opening of the little shindig here that we're having on the little plaza.
Shindig, it's beautiful.
The
It's
plaza.
the plaza. Come on down. Lots of action, and it's just wonderful to be here.
Yeah.
Always great to sit next to you. As you can see, I got the cocktail. No pizza yet, but should be coming.
Now, were you here? Were you watching the end of the World Series? Were you at Binion's? And obviously, you met
Joseph Hashem.
Yeah.
Very good friend of my wife and I's, yes, from Australia.
Oh, you had known him before?
Yes,
Oh.
I've known and played with him for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I actually was at the World Series. I actually played in it myself. I didn't do quite as well as him, but I held my own.
Yes, you did hold your own. You made it pretty deep, didn't you? Were you in the top 50?
Yeah.
At the main event? Yeah?
Yeah.
Top 50? How much did you end up cashing there for?
$250,000.
Oh, just $250,000.
Poultry sum. Considering it was $7.5 million for first. What is going on in this game? 10 Queen 3. Has anybody got a pair?
Doesn't look like it.
Holy cow! Let me in this game. Everybody's playing with no pair.
No pair.
We got ace deuce, ace high with a gut shot straight draw. He's probably pushing the action.
Look at Duck. No, Tuckman's continuing to bluff at it.
Bluff it with the king 5.
And he's proud of himself. Look at him.
Well, he's trying to make, players do that at the end of a hand. It'll make it look like, okay, I've got a pair, it's no big deal. Inside, he's like thinking, oh, wow, look at this. I won $300. I got king high. He almost had the best hand. He was almost bluffing with the best hand.
Yeah, almost. It's kind of been a slow night, but we had Barry Greenstein stop by. We had Joseph Hashem stop by.
Holy cow, the who's who of poker,
Absolutely. Now, you're going to be around for Legends playing most of the events, or what?
I will be here all month. I think I'm going to go for the all-around player award this time.
Yeah.
What? Oh, this is the hidden camera over here?
Those are the whole card cams. We have them up on the plasma now. Yeah. Isn't that sweet? And we moved,
wow.
we moved the Live at the Bike table over to the back, and we're looking at a couple different angles.
This is wonderful.
So you go.
It looks like they're underwater, but
yeah, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, okay, I got you. I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you. Not very pretty hands. There's a 9, 10 of clubs, I think.
Yep. And we're going to see a flop of Queen Jack 4, and it gets checked around on the flop, and the turn is an ace. Look at that. The guy in seat 8, his name is Bart.
His name is what?
Bart.
No. We got a Bart and a James on the same table?
And no, isn't that amazing?
Wow. Katie barred the door.
And the river here is an ace, and once again...
Does anybody have a pair?
There's no pair, and Tuckman's going to bluff at it again, this time with Queen 5.
Oh, my... Well, why wouldn't he? I mean, he's just thinking, he doesn't know. He's thinking, people are laying down pairs against me. He doesn't know that, nobody can make a pair in 2 straight hands.
Look at that, twice.
Watch, yeah, twice. Right now, he's thinking, holy cow, why aren't I playing here every day? He's stacking those chips thinking, there's actually people working at McDonald's right now?
He actually did have top pair there. Now,
he did have a pair?
Queen Jack 4, ace, ace, so making a little bit of a value bet there.
But he did have a pair?
Yeah.
Bart, you're always into these details, man. You're always into the details, right? Is that men win? Oh, no, that's not him. I thought it was for the back shot. I thought that was men and master.
It was funny, Keno, when I saw you at the Rio, you and men and master were drinking some cocktails. And I actually wanted to sit down with you guys at the 5100 stud high-low table. Looks like you guys were having some fun, but I had to run off.
I was having fun. I was a donator. I was throwing a party. My wife gets upset with me when I play that game. She doesn't think I can tell the ace from a deuce in that game. I'm basically limited to hold'em.
But you said you wanted to be there with men, right?
Well, one of these days I'm going to book a win, and then I'll say I told you so. That's like, hey, is that Keith Greystoke in seat 10? I think that's Keith Greystoke.
Yes, it is.
There he is. The Greystoke. Wow. He looks like he's eating
Northern England?
Yeah, Northern England. He talks like this. He talks like this. Oh, mate, I had a pair. Let's see if anybody can make a pair this hand. It looks like a challenge to make a pair. It's like the first one to make a pair wins.
Yeah, it's...
what game is this?
This is a restricted buy-in 3-5 no-limit game.
3-5 no-limit,
yep.
Maximum buy-in of...
200.
200.
Yeah,
so you can readily see who the winners are.
Yeah. Well, of course, you can continue to rebuy, though, when you go broke, so...
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can't... If you have more than 200, it means you've won a pot.
Yeah. Tuckman's going to come in. He likes to make this little raise from the cutoff here. He's got king 7 of spades. And this guy isn't going to call with ace rag out of position, is he kind of...
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. There's been 4 or 5 people in every hand, but he didn't this time.
He's going to muck. And, something's above... What's that above Gabe's head right there? Oh, it's Yana.
Oh, it's Yana. Probably giving a the poker lesson.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh,
so you having fun here tonight?
Yeah, I'm having a great time. If you're anywhere near the bike, get down here now. It's free cocktails. Okay,
is it really? Until when?
All right, it's not free cocktails, but you'd think it's free. After you have a few.
Are you drinking a little rum and Coke here, Jack and Coke?
Jack and Diet Coke, because, I'm
Jack
trying
and
to
Diet.
get rid of that tire that's stuck around my middle.
Yeah, Jack and Diet. Boy, Kenna, you stopped by in the convention there at the Rio.
Is it 20 to go there?
It's 20 to go.
See, I'm being
20 to go.
Bart. I'm being Bart now. Right back to the action, getting the details going. 20. Let's see. Ace Jack
against Ace Jack.
Against Ace Jack. Now the player in position should win this hand.
And David's not the type that he knows how to use his position.
Who's got position?
David does.
David
5. Yep.
David does.
Yep.
So he should win this hand.
Absolutely. 7, 3, 10, 2 diamonds on board.
And there should be a bet on this flop, especially by position.
And here we go. It's going to
He
get
should
checked
bet
to him.
like $30. What is it? How much?
25.
Is it? 25.
Pretty
Okay.
close.
Pretty good.
Pretty close. JMX there. He hasn't been having a great night, and he's going to muck.
Yep.
And David takes it down in position.
Yep.
In position.
Very good.
No,
I told you. Position is very underrated.
We came back. We were having some fun, you and I, at the Rio, at the convention. We actually haven't shown a lot of the interviews that we've done, and there's sipping on your Jack and Coke. But boy, we had some pretty, promotional models there going around on my head. I had to keep my head on the job.
Well, I got to tell you, there was a rumor going around that there were no hookers on the street in Vegas. They were all working the show at the Rio. I didn't say that. Okay, I didn't say that. There was a lot of pretty girls in the trade show, and somebody said that. I don't know if it's true. I'm not a proponent of it, but it is a possibility that you had to wait a long time if you're into that sort of thing. Now, me, I'm happily married, so I don't know anything about it, but that's what I heard.
One of these lovely ladies, your wife here?
Yes, and Marshall Wagner right here, who finished second at the PPT, the Professional Poker Tour, not long ago. For 100G.
100G, huh? Wow.
Okay, so we're off and running here on this hand. Hey, we got new chairs live at the Bike Chairs. This place is moving up. Holy Cadoti, what is next?
So we're going to get you playing some of these games coming up over the next month and a half?
I'm going to be here all month. I can't wait to play. I'm going to, if I do get knocked out of a tournament, which isn't going to be often, of course, I'm going to be out here playing and duking it out with these guys.
Look at this, a live straddle it looked like.
Really?
10 to go. 10 to go. And it was Tuckman. He checks out of the straddle position. 5-way action, $50 pot. Look at this, ace jack, ace 10.
Well, at 9-10 of hearts, too, I think.
Whoa, jack, queen, 9, 2 diamonds.
And 9-10's got the open end straight.
Yep.
Looks like a couple people got a piece of this.
Yeah. 9-10. Check. Queen, 9, jack. And look at this, it gets checked around kind of. No one's got a queen. There's the king.
Oh!
That gives 9-10 the straight.
I knew 9-10 was going to win this hand. I'm telling you, I knew it.
And now he's going to put some money in there.
Look at the 4 diamonds. 4 diamonds has got the flush draw and a gut shot straight draw. Any chance he could see the river? That'd be great if ace 4 offsuit took this down. With like a little 3 of diamonds on the river. Greystoke, what do you got?
Well, ace 10 is in there. Ace 10 is in there with a higher straight, Kenna. We missed it.
Oh.
Look.
Oh.
Ace 10 nut straight, 9-10 bottom end of the straight.
It is.
And look at this,
right.
he just flat calls. Wow, he's just going to flat call, but there's a lot of danger cards that can come there to kill the action. Can't believe he didn't raise.
Well, the question is, did he not raise because he respected the flush, or did he not raise because he was slow playing? If he's slow playing, it was a horrible play.
Absolutely. We see that time and time and again.
Because the diamond makes four to a flush.
Well, actually, he just calls here on the river, so maybe he is.
He is. He's defensive. It's a defensive.
Ace 10 is good.
Okay, so when I see this hand against this player, all right, I know that he's a very conservative player.
Right.
He's afraid to play the second nuts, basically.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to be putting a lot of heat on this guy after he turns over this hand. And that's why you've got to pay attention, what's going on in the hand when you're not in the hand. Because you get a lot of information there. This guy is not betting, okay, and I won't bet into him either. Right? Once he's called my bet, I'm not going to bet into him because he's not giving action. So I'm going to punish him and bet strong against him because he's probably going to lay down a hand.
Well, see, I get a little bit distracted, especially here at the bike, the beautiful cocktail waitresses walking around. And those chip runners. My goodness. Those Cambodian chip runners that run around the plaza level.
Cambodian?
Yeah.
Is that what they're Cambodian?
Absolutely.
You're
They're very distracting.
Bart, you're feeling a little frisky tonight, aren't you? He's got a cock. You know, you think he's the one drinking the cocktails, right? I mean, he must be. It's like he's the one that. Where you going, Andy? Where you going? Are you going? You saying goodnight? All right,
Hey,
good to see
Kenna,
glad
let me
you're
ask
here.
you, have you ever played on Pokertropolis before?
You know what? I can't wait. I hear all these good things about it. I hear everybody's going to the Pokertropolis. You know, so I can't wait. I have not yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
You're looking forward to it?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, I am gonna. They're telling me that I'm gonna open an account tonight. So,
well, of course, there are 3 weekly free rolls that are powered by Pokertropolis that you can play on thebike.com. And the bombshell models that have been on this show and that do promos.
there it is
for us,
again with the models.
The bombshell
Holy cow.
models. Do you remember the models we had? Didn't we not have the best models in the whole show?
You did. But
They play every Tuesday night. You play against them. It's
Wow.
a $25 plus $5 tournament.
Wow.
Play against them. They
Wouldn't
get their
that be great?
icons up.
Wouldn't that be great if you won it, that you got to actually go into their living room? Hey, can we get that promotion? If you actually beat one of the models, you get to go over and play at their house. Now that's a promotion, right? Now if you lose, you got to go over to the guy model thing, right? And you're gonna get spanked. No, there's going to be a lot of great promotions. This is an up-and-coming site, and so we expect good and big things from it. A lot of promotions coming up, and I'll be there.
You'll be there?
I will be there.
All right. Pocket 9s against King 10.
Fitty.
Like I
Ooh,
said,
King.
And set of 9s.
Oh!
Set of 9s.
Send it. Ship it. You know what? The players love it when you stick out your hands like you're hiking a football, and they go, ship it. And push the pot to them. They love that. The losing player loves that.
Oh, yeah.
They do.
Have you said ship it in your time before?
And then they love it when you reach over and you say, thank you very much. Thank you. I just want to thank you. You know.
Do that again, then we missed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, thank you. And then you stacking the chips.
Oh, Kenna, it's always great to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks, Bart. It's great. It's great to be here.
We have
I'm looking forward. I'll be here all month, so I'll come in and.
Yeah, absolutely. We have about 5 minutes left in the show. Can you stick around?
Sure.
Yeah.
We only got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll be here. I mean, everybody just woke up. They were sitting at the computer. They were snoring, right? They were thinking, what's in the refrigerator? What doesn't have mold on it? You know, and now I come in, I'm yelling, I had to wake everything up but the dog in the house.
Yeah? How's your show going on while I'm there on GSM there? You got, what is it, what's it called?
Poker Royale.
Poker Royale,
The show is going great. I'm actually going to Burbank on Friday to do the next 2.
Yeah.
I just got back from Vegas filming the new Ultimate Poker Challenge. I did 4 shows for them.
Is that the show that Chad Brown usually hosts?
Yes,
Yeah.
he is the host again.
Yeah.
But they let me co-host 4 shows this time.
Yeah.
I think I only did 1 last time. So we had a great time. I mean, so I think, I'm trying to break into that a little bit. So hopefully those went really well, and those should air in November.
You know what's going to be also interesting, Kenna? The ladies' free roll this year.
Yes.
Well, we got a lot of lookers in there.
See, there's the ladies again.
Jennifer Tilley.
What is up with this guy?
Liz
are
Liu,
you
probably.
Are you taking the blue pill? You're taking the blue pill, aren't you? This guy,
Guilty.
he's you know what? What is in this cup? This is incredible. I've never seen him like this. Every word out of his mouth is lady, woman, Cambodian. It's what's going on? Bart, come on. I'll fix you up, man. I know people.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Look at this, ace queen against deuce 7. Now these are the type of hands you get at the bike. You think you don't want
it's Tuckman. He's got the deuce 7.
Of course he does. He wins with nothing. Nobody makes a pair. Of course he's going to play deuce 7.
Looks like he's re-raised with the deuce 7.
Of course. He's feeling his oats, so to speak. You know, when you start feeling invincible. I mean, look at his posture with deuce 7.
Well, now he's going to lay it down because there's a re-raise there.
I'm going to lay this one down like I'm doing you a big favor. He looks like he should be playing quarterback for the 49ers.
Ace-10 against ace-queen. Well, let's see if the dominated hand... Oh, king 7-5. You know, that's not... I don't like that if I have ace-queen out of position, kind of, that flop.
You don't, but you know what? You lead at it and just hope to take it right there.
Well, that's what he's going to do. He's going to lead at it.
Very good. And a strong bet, too. That's great. Ace-10 is going to fold here. You know, people don't realize, though, that ace-10 against ace-queen, it looks a lot more dominated than it really is. Even ace-10 against ace-queen is only a 3-1 dog, you know? Mm-hmm. And so... that's why in No Limit, you know, you see it win more times than you would think.
Yeah.
And especially when it just goes all in, all in. You're only a 3-1 favorite.
Well, I think that that hand in particular, along with the range of ace-ragged hands, but specifically ace-10 offsuit, is probably one of the most overvalued hands to recreational poker players. Now, that guy called a raise and a re-raise.
Yeah.
$80 pre-flop with ace-10 offsuit.
Well, an ace is the most powerful card, and that's why some people get trapped with it.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that ace-rag suited in No Limit Hold'em in back position is a very playable hand because there are 3 hands you're gonna make the most money on in No Limit, and that's your nut flushes, your flush, straights, and sets.
Mm-hmm.
Sets, straights, and flushes. That's where you're going to double up. So the ace-rag suiteds become playable. The small pairs become playable in position. In position. The reason you can't play them in early position is they get raised and re-raised behind, and you end up dumping off a lot of chips, or getting tempted into a pot, and then flopping partly to your hand, and now you're screwed. So
look at this 4-9 offsuit against 8-jack. Wow.
Who's double G? Which one? What seat number is he?
That would be seat number 1.
Is he drinking?
And it gets checked around.
Well, now he made a pair of 4s, so he might
Tuchman's
fire.
got second pair. I'm surprised that he didn't bet there in position.
Well, he's not going to bet because he's got a pair. You know, he only bets when he has no pair. So we got to tell on this guy, right? No pair, fire. Pair, check.
Now, David actually, he's one of the commentators here. I don't know if you've ever met him before. He made it pretty far in the first event of the World Series.
David, which one is
David Tuchman, seat 5.
Seat 5, this guy here?
Yep.
He made it far?
He made it...
Tell him. Somebody tell him. Okay? When you got a pair, bet. When you have no pair, check.
I think he got a 60th spot in that first event that had 2,300 people.
Really?
So that's a pretty good showing.
As long as he doesn't outplay himself, he looks like, he could play.
Yeah.
His biggest opponent is going to be himself. And really, friends and countrymen and Romans out there, that is your number one opponent, is yourself. Your number one opponent is yourself. Your self-discipline, your self-patience, your knowledge in the game. Look, I'm over next to Bart here because, I can tell he's feeling lonely tonight. So, but, really, it's a battle against yourself. People think it's a battle against everybody else, but the truth is it's a battle of you against yourself.
Well, of course, we have this little thread that we do every night on 2+2. Well, we'll see if there's any clever comments about how you've made the show a lot livelier, because you definitely have. It's always a pleasure when you come on the show.
No questions, huh?
Well, we'll see here.
Okay.
Okay, Ken has been in the booth for about 30 seconds, and it's already been more interesting than the entire show.
Oh, God love you. Who is that, Russ?
Russ.
God love you, Russ. But, I'm giving up my cocktails. This one's almost gone. I've given up my seat at the bar for you guys.
Here, look at this one from 7-7. He says, I met Kenneth James right after he busted out of the WPT championship at the Bellagio. He was sitting in the noodle bar, and I went up and gave him my condolences for busting out. We chatted for a bit, and he got my food comped for me. Always got that drink in his hand, too. So he's
well, I'm a powerful person, so I just raised my finger, right? And boom, it's comped. I just, hey, take care of that guy. And it's done. No, I'm kidding. That's great. I'm glad.
We're going to play 2 more hands, I think, after this.
2 more hands. No, Let's keep going.
Look at this board. Ace, deuce, 5, 4, deuce.
All right.
And Sammy there in seat 6, he's got trip deuces, but it's a one-card wheel on the
He's
board
gonna
there.
win it. He's going to win it.
Well, seat number 2, he's bet just with the 4.
You know what? He had a nut flush draw on the turn, too. Why hasn't he won this hand already is my question. I'm sorry. I was looking down at the thread. So I would have known the answer to that.
And look at this. JMX takes it down. He bets with king 4 and gets Sammy to lay down trip deuces.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? The guy had the nut flush draw and river trip deuces, and he didn't put $20 in the pot?
I was trying to convince myself.
What's going on? Sign me up. Put me on that board.
What do you think of the little electronica out there now, too? The electronic board out there.
I
It's very
haven't seen it yet. I
basic-esque.
can't wait to get out and
Yeah.
see it. And I tell you, Bart, I'm telling you seriously, in the future, I don't know if I'm ever going to go anywhere in this commentating business, but if I do, I would love to, commentate with you down the road.
Well, I would love to do it too with you, Ken.
We got,
Great.
poker, a big. Did he say he'd love to do it with me? Well, I got to tell you, when you are bisexual, you do increase your chances of a date on Friday night by 100%.
Really? What? 50%?
100%.
Ace Queen for James there in seat 3.
Ace Queen against the Queen Jack and the King 9.
3 players.
3 quality hands.
Ooh, King Jack 3. Look at that.
King
so
9.
King 9's picked up top pair here.
Like, why do we have to end right at 10 o'clock? Is the internet police out? Are they going to say, like, okay, that's it. You guys are done. You went out 10:02.
I think it's more for our the mental stability of our producer that's been clicking in the cards for 4 hours.
She's got a little table pad there.
Yeah.
Everything's improving at the bike. This is a great place, I'm telling you. They've been around for so long, and they're going to continue to be along because they're innovative and they're always doing great things. What's going on here? There was 60.
King 9 bet here, and Queen Jack called. Queen Jack made the call. Double G bet in position. Queen Jack made the call. So now the pot's about $110. And look at this. It goes check, check as the third heart comes on board. And let's see what the river is. The river's a jack.
No.
Look at this. Hugo's sucked out. He's sucked out.
No.
And it goes check, check. He didn't even put any money in on the river from early position.
Once again, bad play is awarded. Is that Hugo with all the chips?
Yep, seat number 4. That's the guy that you said, boy, this guy was probably playing kind of weak. He didn't raise
Holy
with the nuts
cow.
straight.
Somebody's got to tell him the difference between a hand and a foot. Holy cow, what the heck is he doing?
Oh, man.
That's all right. At least he had a pair. A lot of times those guys at 4 or 5 handed didn't even have a pair.
So we're going to wrap this one up. This is our last hand of the night.
All right. Come on down to the bike. We got the Legends of Poker starting up all month long. If you see me in the tournament area, come up and say hi.
And normally you're going to maybe be having a drink in your hand, drink or two in your hand.
Probably. I'm probably a 8-5 favorite to have a drink in my hand when you see me.
Looks like some garbage.
Oh,
hands there.
Yana's joined the table. Getting some last-minute camera time.
Yep. And,
Grace came up to me in the party. She said, I can't fold a napkin, huh? Oh, my goodness.
Seat 9 there. I think he's in with 7-8 offsuit. Yep, Keith there. It's the first time we've seen him play in a while. Look at this. He's going to fire out at the King Jack 10 board with 7-8. He's betting $60. Guess he's got a gut shot there to the 9, but if he made a 9, a queen would be a 1-card straight higher. But look at Tuckman.
Oh, look at this. He's going to win the pot. See, this is the thing. When you play solid and you play tight and you don't play a hand for a while, you're going to win.
Yeah.
A lot of times you're going to take the pot. I don't think a king would have folded. But. Okay,
Yeah.
we're wrapping it up. It's great. Thanks for having me once again. Always great to be here.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, and you're always welcome to come in anytime. Come
God
in when
love
you
you.
bust out early, or come in after you win a big one.
You got
the
it.
next day.
You got it.
Well, for Kenna James and Bart Hanson, please join us tomorrow at 6 o'clock Pacific time. Good night, everyone, from Live at the Bike.
Good night.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.